take a lot of pride in that. Just with him being such a great coach, for him to say that, that means a lot. But that is my first time hearing that comment.
It's rat poison, by the way. But I just had to throw it your way.
It is not. You got a level head on your shoulders. Can you take me back to the beginning of the year, because this is the first time we've had a chance to talk to you in this setting. Sure. The beginning of the year, when you were playing, say, the Texas game to the other night against LSU, at any point were you reluctant to run the football and you finally decided I need to start running? Just walk me through the process of what led from the Texas game to you just taking over the LSU game.
Coach Saban harps on being a point guard with the football, and I took it to heart when he speaks about that. And what he means by that is whether it's passing the ball, running the ball, get the ball to the playmakers and allow them to do what they do best with the football. And while I play, all I want to do is master the game plan and master what we talk about during the week. And, whether it's handing the ball off, passing, or using my legs, the emphasis during the week was making a successful play and playing the next play and really falling back to a level of training throughout the week. I think that's important to have success on the weekends. It's about how you prepare. And, Coach Reese challenged me to do so. Coach Saban does as well. So it's all about mastering the game plan and all that comes with it.
Now, Terrion Arnold joins us each week for an on-demand interview, and he, when we recorded with him earlier today, told us we have not seen fast Jalen Milroe yet. Have we not seen fast Jalen Milroe yet?
Not yet. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Why are you holding back, Jalen? Why are you holding your speed back?
That one touchdown that you cut it up and took it to the end zone the other night, that wasn't top-end speed for you yet?
No, that was my fastest.
Well, I mean, when are we going to see that, do you think? Will we see fast Jalen Milroe?
Yeah, I'm gonna let it out the cage one of these days. I'm gonna take it out the garage for a nice spin.
I mean, heck, man, tell Coach Saban you want to return a kick. Let's put you back there. Yeah. We'll give you a 100-yard head start.
I'd love to hear the stadium when he goes back for a kick. Yeah.
What did South Florida, the benching, do for you personally? Because that seemed like a major moment for this team, because coming out of that game, you guys seem to have gotten better each and every game.
I see everything as an opportunity, and I saw that game as an opportunity to be the best leader I can be and establish my leadership and try to see football in different lenses. I think that was important. I saw it as a growth moment for myself, and then also falling back to this small acronym right here is family. Forget about me, I love you. And I harp on that to the guys, because no matter who's in the game, we all wear the same A. Whether what position you play, we're all wearing crimson, we're all wearing white. And I think that's very important, And with the guys that played, it was important to let them know that I'm with them. I support them. And then while those guys were playing, I saw some things on the sideline. So whenever time they come out the field to talk about every rep and stuff like that, I was there for them, And I think I saw football in different lenses, and I saw it as an opportunity to grow my leadership.
I don't know if you play Madden or not, but anytime I score a big touchdown, I always hit that option where I can jump into the crowd and celebrate. Yeah. And the other night, a couple of times, I thought to myself, oh, Jalen's about to do a Lambeau leap into the crowd, which I'm sure would be flagged by these no-fun officials. But in your head, was there a little emotion like, am I about to jump into the crowd? Because you went over there and were high-fiving everybody.
Yeah. Well, Coach Saban emphasized how much the fans impact the game, and our fans have brung it ever since Coach Saban came out with the statement. And to acknowledge how well they're impacting the game, I made sure to give them some high fives. I went over there, every single touchdown that I had, let them know, hey, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the energy y'all bring to the stadium, because it's impact us, and we play even better, So they are a big influence to the game, and so it was a point of emphasis to try to give them a high five.
Jalen Milroe is with us, the Alabama quarterback, with us each week, courtesy of Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, just like for the big dog with Crane Works. What can you not do? What can you not do where does the flag come? Do you know what you cannot do to celebrate after a touchdown?
I think it's excessive, doing anything to the other opponents, doing something like that. That's wrong. if you celebrate with your team and celebrate something, real small, I think it's okay. I think celebrating is important because it's a lot of stuff that leads to a successful drive. It's hard. Football is hard. So I think guys should be able to celebrate, but it shouldn't be anything to disrespect the opponent that you're playing.
I will self-admit this. So earlier this season, I said, look, I don't think Jalen Milroe, I think he's a good quarterback. He's got a lot of potential. But what Alabama fans have seen is Jalen Hurts. They've seen to Tua Tagovailoa, to Mac Jones, to Bryce Young. You have seen elite quarterbacks. And I'm starting to eat my words after watching you last week, but
I love, by the way. When he says something like that and he eats his words, hey, I'm here for it.
And I'll own it. But those guys were elite. Do you ever hear from any former Alabama quarterbacks that will just send you a text and give you a little support?
Well, it's people like you that give me motivation.
Hey, fair enough.
Throughout my life that told me I couldn't play position, told I should play safety, told I wasn't good enough. So it's people like you that give me motivation, so I appreciate it, no doubt.
No problem.
But those guys, they are great quarterbacks. What they all had was mental toughness to get them through any situation to be a successful quarterback. And for me, I try to grasp all information that those guys did well here and try to implement it to the program, And I saw those guys the opportunity to, grow as a quarterback. And then I had a firsthand experience with Bryce, and one thing Bryce had was outstanding leadership qualities and outstanding pride in preparing for a game. I think that was key to how he performed on the weekends. And that is something, that I saw, while I had it, a relationship with him here. And with the other guys, that wore the A, it was all about doing their job and it's all about doing what was needed while wearing the A. So, those guys did a great job here. And, I definitely take pride in wearing the A because those guys have laid down the foundation.
Do you have a good relationship with Tommy Rees? I mean, Bill O'Brien and you are very different in ages. And Tommy Rees and you, it doesn't seem like, I mean, I know there is a big age difference, but I look at you guys, you look like you're the same guy. It's almost like going from a guy who's got Wayne Newton on his Spotify to a guy who's got a little Wayne on his Spotify. Do you get along with Tommy Rees a little better?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I tell people this all the time. All my life playing quarterback, I never had a coach that played the position. This is my first time having a coach that played the position, and then also playing at Division I at the level, and he played at a high level. So I think getting a firsthand coaching from him has been great. We see football in the same lenses, and it allows me to grow. And I think I take a lot of pride in having a coach like him coach me. And then what also great about having Coach Rees as my coach is that, you have your coach, but you also have someone that you can talk to beyond football. And I think we have a great relationship in that. And, I appreciate our relationship, and it's constantly growing.
Jalen Milroe for a few more moments, courtesy of Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Look for that big dog for Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. What do you see from Kentucky? When you watch their defense, you see what out of Kentucky's defense? I mean, one game plan question, and Alabama shuts us down. Oh, wait. We lost you for a second.
We lost your connection for a second.
If you do not mind just restarting, I'll pretend like I just asked the question. What do you see out of Kentucky?
Yeah, what I see out of Kentucky is a tough football team all around, offensively and defensively. It's going to take a lot of preparation to prepare for these guys to match their intensity and match how physical they play. And as a point of emphasis, we have to be physical. We have to have all elements of our game to be there to be successful in this game. So we're excited for the challenge, and we know that we're playing a tough opponent in Kentucky.
Alabama football's been around since 1892. Did you realize last weekend you became the first to do something in the history of Alabama football?
I didn't realize it until I got home. My family's brought it to my attention, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, four rushing touchdowns for people that don't realize that for a quarterback. And that's pretty amazing when you think about the history of Alabama quarterbacks and the guys that have played that position.
And considering they used to play the wishbone where the quarterback ran all the time. It's amazing you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Would you rather rush for 4 or pass for 4?
Say it again.
Would you rather rush for 4 in a game or pass for 4?
I'd rather pass for 4.
Because you're getting somebody else involved, right?
That's right. And that's what I train in offseason to do, is throw the ball. So I'd rather throw the ball for a touchdown.
Yeah. For the record, Alabama fans don't care. They just want the 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll take it. They'll take it any way you can give it, Jay.
Yeah. How about rush for 4 and throw for 4? How about that one?
That's going to equate to a win.
Yeah, I like your odds in that one. All right, he is Jalen Milroe on his way to Lexington for Alabama, Kentucky. Jalen, thank you very much for the time. Good luck this weekend in the game, and we'll see you next week.
All right, appreciate you. Roll Tide.
All right, thank you, buddy. Jalen Milroe with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He will join us each week, courtesy of Craneworks, Rentalworks, Wasteworks. You can just look for that big dog to find Craneworks, Rentalworks, and Wasteworks.
Yeah, and the show being brought to you as well by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. They bring you Lance's Lock every day. You can get plays on tonight's college or NFL game at lanceslock.com.
Yeah, Hemp Hill Services is 1954. The name Birmingham is trusted for all of your heating, plumbing, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Tell them the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up $69 fall tune-up when you mention the next round. For more information, hemphillservices.com. It is hard to stop a train.
I think it was Rick Neuheisel that said this during the CBS broadcast. I think it was at halftime. Maybe it was after the game. I believe it was Neuheisel. If I'm crediting this to someone else, I apologize. But he told him, he said, an old coach told me that one day Bo Jackson would be quarterback. The Bo Jacksons of the world would be quarterback.
Yeah.
Basically, the strongest, fastest, best athlete on the field one day will be quarterback. And, you know, you're starting to see that in some places. Jalen Hurts is a physical specimen and did wonderful things at quarterback. This guy, I think, is more physical than Jalen Hurts ever could be if he ever gets more seat time and continues to play the position and doesn't immediately go off to the NFL someday. He's nowhere close to his ceiling yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I would agree. And, you know, he goes back, and I brought up the fact of what I said early in the season, but I think I was the least critical of anybody talking about Jalen Milroe. Right. And what I was pointing out was I thought he was a B quarterback playing after a bunch of elite quarterbacks.
And follow my analogy here. When you take over a job or move into a situation that someone else had before you, it takes it a while before it feels like it's yours, you know?
Yeah.
And oftentimes you go into that situation trying to almost do it like the person before you did it, you know, because everyone's used to it being this way. So I'm going to go in and try to, you know, show that, hey, I'm going to do it the way you did this. And I wonder, and maybe we can ask him this next week, when did it feel like it was your position and not you're replacing Bryce Young? When did it feel like Jalen Milroe is a quarterback and not the guy who's following Bryce Young?
Yeah, I think there's some of that, but here is the quarterback that I would compare him to. I think J.J. McCarthy at Michigan. And here's what I look at. J.J. McCarthy relied on Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards to run the football last year and for them to play great defense, and he was still processing the game, and he had a really good year. 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completed 65% of his passes. But J.J. McCarthy is now making plays. People don't realize it because Michigan is whipping the shit out of everybody. But now he's a guy that's completing 76% of his passes, 18 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a weird Bowling Green game. But J.J. McCarthy is finally playing. He's processing, and the game has slowed down. When the game slows down for that kid, watch out.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I think he's only going to get better, Jalen Milroe. I mean, I don't think he's going to go backwards. Sometimes you see quarterbacks start good and go backwards. I think he didn't start bad. I mean, let's don't pretend like he started bad.
Yeah, I brought that up.
Yeah, but I think he's only going to get better. And I'm telling you what'll make him so much better is being a willing runner.
Yeah,
because the more he runs, the more defenses are. And Luganville, I think, did a good job of breaking this down on Ball with me this week at Disrupt the Media. The links are in the description of this show you're watching on YouTube if you want to find it. What that does just to teams that now watch film of called runs for him, that everything that affects for their defense, the decisions they now have to make because there are called runs, not scrambles. Scrambles are something entirely different. But called runs. We have got design called runs now in the Alabama offense for Jalen Milroe, and how that affects Every single defensive coordinator the rest of the time Alabama plays this year.
Yeah.
What they have to do to adjust to that.
A lot of times, just guessing from Luganville, that's going to open some one-on-one coverages up in the passing game if you need to.
That was his total point, is that you know, because you could spy a guy when he's a passer, right? But Luganville's like, the spy does not work on called runs.
Nope.
That's not going to help you. So now I've got to full-time dedicate a guy, because Luganville said, you go watch those plays against LSU. Every single called run, they had outnumbered LSU because LSU was not prepared for this.
Hey, and hats off to Burton, Nyblack, not known as great blockers, but a couple of times in that game, they did a great job of sealing the edge and opening that up on the edge.
And Luganville said on those called runs, you had 8 blockers versus 7 defenders. He goes, they were going to work because you had outnumbered LSU, and they were not prepared for that. He said, so now every defensive coordinator Alabama faces has to choose. Do I bring that 8th defender up in the box to stop these called Alabama runs? And he said, if you do that, Bond is one-on-one, Burton is one-on-one, Nyblack is one-on-one, and now Jalen Milroe can throw a little bit.
And I've asked this question a couple of different ways, and even to him there. I think if we did the old Wonder Woman lasso or the truth serum.
The lasso of truth.
Yeah, I think he would tell us that he played the Texas game differently then than he would play it now. I think he would run the ball a lot more.
I think Tommy Reese would probably tell you that too. They were trying to fill each other out, and again, he was still trying to process things.
Like I think Alabama would beat Texas if they played this.
I agree with you. You know, on Bama and Bourbon this week with Aaron Suttles from Yale, Alabama, I brought this up to him. Like, how many Alabama fans at this point would have said, Jalen Milroe is going to be our starting quarterback next year in 2024. Yeah, it really becomes interesting next year because there were a lot of thoughts about the new kid coming in,
Julian Sayin.
Julian Sayin. Yep.
And then obviously Dylan Lonergan, who's had a good camp by most accounts.
Ty Simpson's still there.
I don't think anybody would have had Jalen Milroe as your starting quarterback for 2024, but he's got to be your favorite by far now, right?
Yeah. But I'm sitting here telling you, with that quarterback room, all those guys are highly rated. There'll be 1 transfer, 2 transfers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in this day and age, you can't keep all that talent.
And I think Bond has turned into a really good receiver too. He's not just some speed guy that can get behind the defense every now and again. He can do that, but I think he's turned into a good, dependable receiver for Alabama, and that was one of the problems early in the years. They didn't have the dependable receivers.
I had heard in the offseason that a lot of people believe Milroe was going to transfer.
Manage your account on the go with Alabama Power's new mobile app, the new app that features easy, safe, and reliable ways for you to access your account and check your usage and set alerts so that you're the first to know when it comes to your electricity. Available to both Apple and Android devices, alabamapower.com/mobile app, alabamapower.com/mobile app, or just go to your app store, Apple and Android, and download the Alabama Power app today. All right, we will get into what Michigan has responded to the Big Ten and Rockstar's 4 downs still to come in this hour. Dan Orlovsky talking NFL coming up at the top. It does not feel like 2 versus 9, Georgia and Ole Miss. Why am I a little bit worried about Oregon? What are
you worried about them losing, winning?
Why do I think this USC-Oregon game can be just a little bit closer than...
Are you not pulling for USC? I would think as an Alabama fan, Alabama fans want Oregon going down because 2 losses, they're completely done. You don't want it coming down to a Texas, Oregon, Alabama situation because I think Oregon would get the benefit of the doubt over both of those teams.
I don't. But as I said yesterday, I am in the belief that the SEC champion will never be left out. If all things are if there's one loss,
okay.
One loss,
but Brown,
SEC
would you give me this? If,
for instance, today the football playoff executives are meeting in Dallas, and I think the Big Ten and the SEC controls the meetings. They control everything, and it's going to be hard to say the people that are giving me the nutrients of life in college football, I'm going to leave out their champion. Come on.
Okay, but let me give you this scenario. Florida State wins out.
No, there are scenarios.
Michigan wins out. But if it comes down to 1-loss conference champion, Texas, Alabama, and Oregon.
And I've got how many spots? The 1 spot?
You got the 1 spot.
It's probably Texas. I think
it's Oregon because
I don't.
You don't have to do the argument of Texas over Alabama. You leave both.
But I think that's an easy argument because they won head to head.
Yeah, I mean we're up against a break. We can get into this deeply, and we can coming up a little bit later. Absolutely, because it is. Let's do it when we come back, and then we'll do Rockstar's 4 down in the next segment. because, to Brown's point, the Oregon resume does not match what Alabama and Texas have. All due respect, eye test, yes, on Oregon. Resume, Brown's right. They don't. It's nowhere close to what Texas and Alabama have.
Well, you don't
right
want me
now.
in that room. I like eye test.
Yeah, well, I like eye test mixed with a little facts as well. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Bud Light. Don't forget, Bud Light game night is going on tonight at the Grocery Brew Pub right there in Homewood. Come on out 5 to 7. QR code and everything. It's right there at Bud Light. Bud Light game night, the Homewood location of the Grocery Brew Pub for Bud Light game night.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Rockstar, give me cut number 9, Caleb Williams. He got asked about the emotional scene afterwards. Here's Caleb Williams talking about the emotions after the loss the other night when he went to find his mom, got into the stands, and he lost it. Started crying a little bit. Here's Caleb Williams.
I mean, raw emotion, being human, being myself, someone that cares about this team, these guys, winning especially. It's an interview. You work days, nights, months, years to be in positions like that. And, to be, I haven't been in my career with a 3-loss in the middle of the season. And so it's a bit interesting, kind of feeling. 3 losses is, you don't have the shot of a national championship and all the goals that you had before. I was actually good until I, kind of the mother's touch that you get sometimes, You're all good, you're holding it in, being the man and then you get around your mom, touch your mom, hug your mom says something to you, and then you kind of just it just started flowing out.
God, I love that.
Yeah, it's so sweet, man. And people that are dogging this kid out, a couple of things. First of all, that's the first time he's lost 3 games in the regular season. First time in Lincoln Riley's coaching career he's ever lost 3 games in the regular season. It's been beyond a disappointment for the men of Troy this year. But Caleb Williams, for people that are saying he's overrated, this kid has 38 touchdowns to 4 picks this year. He is playing his ass off. And I heard our friend Joel Klatt, you guys – do you think Joel Klatt knows what he's talking about?
I would say Joel's good, yeah.
I heard Joel, our buddy Charlie Vitella sent me an interview that Joel did with Colin Cowherd yesterday, and he was talking about Caleb Williams specifically, and he said he is the first quarterback that he has ever studied that is a 5-tool quarterback at this level.
What are the 5 tools?
Meaning throwing deep, throwing long outs.
He went through it. I mean, obviously it's different.
I didn't know if you knew.
Yeah, it's different than baseball. I mean, he kind of explained it, but he said, I have never seen a guy that can do all 5 of these things, and he does them at an exceptionally high level. And he is going to be a tremendous NFL quarterback if he stays healthy. And for people that think he's overrated and he's a bad kid, he's getting a bad rap. And I don't know, who was behind the scenes saying we want equity in an NFL team. It was obviously people that aren't educated. But this kid, this is what you want with a college football player.
Yeah, I mean, if and people who are dogging them, if you had an Alabama player or an Auburn player that was crying after an Alabama or Auburn loss, you would relate and love it that he cared that much.
He did, man. And people just don't. And look, and I know he transferred and he's getting a lot of NIL money, and that's just part of the game now. But this guy wants to win.
I don't know if they would love it. I don't know if I agree with you on that.
You don't think?
No. I'm not universally. No, I don't.
Yeah,
I think if.
So you don't think True Emotion's good?
Oh no! Don't.
Well, I'm just
say
asking.
You don't think?
Yeah,
I'm saying I don't agree with.
Well,
Dunaway.
you know why? Because it would equate to a loss. How about if they didn't win?
Well,
how about I appreciate that they care enough?
Okay, again, you just said Alabama fans would love it. And Auburn fans will love it. I don't know that they would universally.
I see people saying he's a soft-ass baby. Okay, so
there you go.
Is Nick Saban a soft-ass baby when he was crying after Alabama won that game and Jalen Hurts comes in and replaces Tua and he tears up afterwards talking about Jalen Hurts? Is he a soft-ass baby? Anybody want to call Nick Saban a soft-ass baby?
I don't. Somebody was talking about Tebow, and look, it wasn't a great look for Tebow, but you look back and
Alabama
Tebow's
fans went nuts.
Tough dude, man.
They loved it.
Exactly, Michael. A.J. McCarron, after he hit the screen pass to Yeldon.
Sitting there crying on the bench.
On the bench. It was such an emotional moment. Guy cared about Alabama football. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me at all. You guys can act all tough you want to.
And he explained it. I mean, it's one thing with Tebow, and in retrospect, probably not as bad as we made it out to be. But when Caleb Williams says the touch, you're the man, but the touch of your mom in that situation, with all those emotions and knowing that everything he has worked so hard to do has come crumbling down, and this is really his last opportunity in college football to be able to do that.
Yeah, I would challenge you guys to find something in your life you're willing to cry over. That's what I would say. Part of the show is being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap. I'd cry over C-Stew any day.
Well, you cry. Look, you see your old man get on the roof. He falls off cleaning those leaves, snaps his neck in front of you, and dies.
Yep.
Soft ass.
Get up, old man. Yeah. You don't want to be in that situation. Look, cap it, don't snap it. You'll never have to clean the leaves again. We were talking about leaves falling yesterday. They're all over the place. Don't get the blower out. Get the Gutter Cap. 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. Call Chris Stewart for an absolutely free estimate. He's been doing it for more than 20 years right here in Market. Great dude. 205-823-2212 or go to capbirmingham.com.
Rockstars 4 downs. I did want to get back to your point on the Alabama, Texas, and Oregon resume question. And to back up what Brown is saying, that Oregon's resume is not automatic. They would be ahead of Texas and Alabama. I think you're going, it's an easy out to not have to choose between Texas, Alabama, choose Oregon, which would be the most inferior of the 3.
Yeah, but I can't read this committee. So I'm just saying, if Oregon loses again, they're out.
To Brown's point, Alabama's loss is to number 7 Texas. They've got wins over number 9 Ole Miss, number 13 Tennessee, and number 19 LSU. Texas's loss is to number 17 Oklahoma. Their wins are over number 8 Alabama, number 16 Kansas, and number 25 Kansas State. Oregon's loss is to number 5 Washington. It's the best loss. But their wins are over number 18 Utah, non-ranked Washington State, and not ranked Colorado.
I think Oregon's a good team. Don't mishear what I'm saying. I just think they're third among the 1 losses if your 1 losses are Texas, Alabama, and Oregon. And I think it goes in that order, by the way. Texas, Alabama, and Oregon. If they're all one loss, that Texas head-to-head with Alabama is going to be hard for Alabama to overcome.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do think Oregon's win over Utah and the way they won that game is almost as impressive as Texas's win over Alabama.
Utah's what, a 3-loss team now?
Well, yeah, but I mean, to go into that play, at the time they played them, they were number 13 nationally, and to win that game by 29, where they had won 18 consecutive games and they had only lost 2 games over the last 5 years at home, to win that game the way they won it, 35-6 in Rice-Eccles, that is one of the top 5 wins of the college football season.
Oh, I disagree with that, but that is a good win.
That's a great win. It's an elite win.
It's their best win.
Yeah.
It's their best win. All right, show being brought to you by our friends at Slice. They bring you 4 downs every day.
Lice.
Lice.
Sell that one, Dunaway.
Hey, 4 locations. The original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, one in Montevallo, now Crestline Park, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His legacy is still celebrated by his brothers Jason and Chris. Get in, see him, one of those 4 locations. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
You are challenged to consume 20,000 calories in 24 hours. What is your strategy?
Well, it's going to be a Saturday, and I am going to start eating THC edibles because I get so damn hungry. I feel like a goldfish. You can't fill me up on them.
Are there calories in those?
There's not any calories in them, per se, maybe 10 calories.
Yeah, it's going to open the door to calories.
Your brain, you are able – there's a reason that a lot of people take THC when they're going through cancer because – their appetite's gone, so it's an appetite supplement.
Okay.
And so that would help you eat more, and then I would just drink a ton because if you start drinking IPAs, I mean, you're looking at 250, 300 calories per. So you drink, 20 of those.
Good news is Lance would not remember gaining the weight.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, but look. 20,000 calories?
It's almost impossible.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, what was Michael Phelps doing? Michael Phelps was doing like, what, 12, almost 20,000 calories a day.
But it was like 7 full meals a day, and I don't think your stomach.
Dude, 20,000. Brown, back me up here.
Okay, Jim.
20,000 calories. I would not take 1 THC or drink 1 lick of alcohol. I could do 20,000 calories like that in one day.
I'll bet you $1,000 you can't cash.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Let's
20,000 calories would be
Let's do
easy.
it, and we will get somebody that has got a nutritional background.
Michael Phelps consumed between 8,000 and 10,000 calories a day divided into 3 big meals.
But Dunaway can do it double that.
Yeah, 20,000 in one day is all I'm having to do.
Phelps' body was literally saying, give me more calories. I need more calories.
It was more and more. But
well, I'm saying that as to side with Lance here. Phelps' body was burning calories at an insane level, and he can only
don't do
10,000.
anything. I know you're doing Lambo leaps on PlayStation.
But what is it? That thumb up is not easy. Thumb up, and sometimes it surprises you. And sometimes thumbs up for solidarity. You have to go to left. I would say you'd be surprised at how many calories you take in on a normal Saturday.
I'm willing to do this. And
how many Saturdays on a normal Saturday for you? How many calories do you think you take?
I'm probably close to 10,000. Just because there's probably 25, 30 drinks involved.
Yeah. That's it. Right. Yeah.
But you can't drink like that. So you're going to have to supplement it with the food, and your stomach's not going to be able to take that.
I'm going to supplement it with a milkshake.
Okay.
Well, here's what
I'm willing to do real quick, Brown. I owe you these steaks. I'm willing to put my 2,000 to your 1,000. You can't get it, and we'll just wipe everything. We'll start clean slate.
We don't have time to get into the nuances of me wiping off all 11 steaks you owe me right now. But I just want,
when you want to talk about the shit, we talk about the shit.
No, 20,000 calories. I'd like to know what I consume on a normal Saturday
Let's
when
do
I'm
it
not
this
working.
Saturday.
Just keep up with it Saturday.
Let's figure it out.
See if you get close.
Well, I don't want to do it because I'm not trying to gain weight.
Oh.
I'm just saying that
I
think we've all hit 20,000 calories before.
I'm saying do your normal Saturday and see how many calories that is.
Well, I don't do my normal Saturdays anymore because I don't want to gain the weight.
Okay.
But on a normal Saturday, back in your overweight days, and we've all been there, think of the worst Saturday you ever had.
The one thing I would not do is start with a massive breakfast, because if I start with a massive breakfast,
don't eat again until 4 o'clock.
I don't eat again until like dinner. So that is actually the way I would not do this, Rockstar, is start with a massive breakfast.
Yeah, I want to see you. I want to see this tried though.
And I don't like
we'll
breakfast
work on
food.
it someday.
Yeah.
If I get to.
But you'd be like the dude in 7, the gluttony. You have to tie you to a table with a puke bowl
and a bowl of spaghetti.
Second down.
What's the first thing you do when you step foot into a hotel room for the first time?
Close the curtains as far as you can get them, and turn the AC down as low as it'll go. I keep hitting the bottom button until it will not let me go any lower.
I think it's important. I always go 65 degrees when I hit a hotel room. First thing I do.
I open my curtains as far as I can.
Or it's a window unit that just says low. You're like, damn it, low.
Yeah, and I'll throw on the TV a little bit. Take a look at the room service menu.
I go ahead and associate myself with where all the channels are, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm in this city. ESPN is this channel, right? So I'll know.
Usually I'm running late to get back downstairs, usually to meet them to go to dinner. So I just throw my stuff in, usually brush my teeth, take a pee, and then rush back downstairs to meet these guys.
Scan to see what he hates about the room so he can tell us when he gets to the lobby.
I usually consume about 5,000 calories quickly.
Twin bed. Odds.
I bet y'all got kings.
Third down.
What foods don't taste the same as they used to? What I brought this up is I was a bar none candy bar fanatic when I was a kid.
What is bar none?
It was a Hershey bar. It was a cookie wafer inside. It was a chocolate cookie wafer.
Oh, okay.
Then they split it into two, and then they just discontinued it. One day at the Great Cracker Barrel, they sell them. I don't know who bought them, but I got one, and it is awful. This is a different recipe, but it's a bar none, and it's terrible. So it's exactly not what I remembered as a kid. I used to love it.
Now, I think there's a lot of these things. Our friend Adam Richmond, Man versus Food, who does a lot of different things now. I would associate him with having a really good palate. Rockstar, what was the show that he started doing recently? Are foods that didn't taste the same, or foods from the 80s that they...
Yeah, the food of the 80s.
Well, I remember in the 80s, me and Brett Harden, when we would order a Domino's pizza, it was so exciting. And it tasted fabulous back in the late 80s. And now, and maybe it's because we have better pizza out there, or are we putting worse ingredients into our stuff because it's much more volume, it's much more price point, we're trying to make more money. But a Domino's pizza that was fantastic back then is now just a filler for me. Like in a pinch, if I have to eat it, I'll eat it.
Well, Richmond said it's the same thing in the 80s with the sugar in cereals was incredible. Now, if you get Apple Jacks now, it is not the same as you had in 1988 because they had so much sugar in it.
Yeah, I remember my mom coming home, though, with cans of SpaghettiOs and meatballs because I loved them. And one time I convinced my youngest, Hallie, to get a can. I was like, oh, I'll try these. I used to love these as a kid. I mean, I took one bite and I was like, how did I eat this? Did it taste different back then?
The SpaghettiOs taste just like the can.
Yeah, but back in the day, I loved them.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, I would eat them all the time.
And I didn't have Frank's hot sauce back then.
I would do the Hormel chili back in the day.
Oh, yeah? Can of chili?
Can't do it now.
I used to do I know we got our friend Sterling out there, but I used to do tamales out of the Hormel can.
Did you ever eat roast beef spread? That Red Devil roast beef. I love it. No, I loved it right there.
It's not meat. That was a squirrel.
I don't know what it was.
Ground up.
I don't know what
Had
it
a
was.
little devil on it?
Had that little red devil on it? Yeah, and you'd spread it on bread.
I'd do the white one too sometimes.
What was it?
I don't know. Chicken maybe?
It might have been.
Chicken spread?
Yeah, chicken spread.
It wasn't even like flake chicken.
Yeah, the roast beef
spread
spread was like an orange label or something like that. Yeah, I used to love it.
Fourth down.
Do you like Vienna sausages?
I loved them.
As a
I
kid,
did too.
yes.
I used to love those.
Let me gag
I hadn't
now.
had those in forever.
If it was leaked that one person on the Disrupt staff was an alien, who would you suspect it would be?
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. 100%.
You going Tyler too, Dunaway?
He's trying to figure out. He's still trying to figure out our language and our nuances.
Yeah.
Well, he's quiet. He's a super nice kid. He does a great job.
Hard worker.
He knows so much, though. He's got just a head full of knowledge. And I think, aliens would look at us and they were like, this is one of the dumbest species we've ever been around. Tyler always looks like he's calculated and he's taking notes.
That's right.
Mentally.
Yep.
The bad thing is when Rocky sent the questions yesterday, I saw this and I thought, I'm about to get called out.
Tyler thought, I think I'm the
sure
one.
enough, it's a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you even looked at the question and thought, I think I would answer me.
Hey,
right?
we're not interesting enough, Tyler. How about that?
Number 2 for me would be number 12. Because I think he's allergic to electricity. It is always dark in his office.
He does. He works in a dark environment.
Well, he never turns the light on. He works in a cave.
And he's just what I would think. Like the aliens and the Terminators and the Predators are all so big. And number 12, 6'8"?
Yeah. Now, Paul says if y'all keep calling him number 12, he sounds like an alien. We're just referring to him as number 12.
He's the 12th prototype. We got him. We're getting close.
He wears an 18 shoe.
I know. He is a big dude.
I know.
Sometime, Paul, in January, he will not have that name anymore.
Like to axe him down, like to chop a tree down. I don't know how long it would take. Chop him in half, it'd take a day.
Chop him in half. Count the rings.
You got to use a miter saw.
All right.
Yeah, they couldn't put him in the wood chipper like they did Buscemi in Fargo.
That's our 4 downs brought to you today in part by our friends at HydroLive LT.
Yeah, HydroLive, just a fantastic place. Nurse Lacey's coming to see us next week. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. They're open 7 days a week, 2 locations. Now in Birmingham, the newest location, Hoover, Greystone, right there in the corner of 119, and Douglas, Baker Boulevard, 1 in Homewood, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're open. If you can't make it to HydroLive, a nurse can actually come to your work or home, all you got to do is go to hydrolifetherapy.com, book it right there. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at HydroLifeTherapy. And very important here, mention the next round at checkout. You're going to get 20% off any of the great services from our friends at HydroLife Therapy.
Just to throw it out there, quarter pounder cheese with a regular Coca-Cola, one of our great sponsors.
It's probably 1,500 calories.
1,100 calories.
Yeah.
So 19 of those.
Yeah.
On a football,
okay.
19 of those on a football Saturday.
You would get tired by number 4.
Dunaway. You would be. I mean, we would have to call. We'd have to do a welfare check.
I'm willing to go.
I mean, it is not healthy to do it.
I'll go 3,000 to 1,000.
No, it's not healthy.
Well, you said you could do it.
I could, but I couldn't survive though.
Yeah,
you know what?
It would die. It'd be a 2-man show.
It's not good for me to do
it.
It would not. If you did it at one time, it's not going to kill you.
You don't know that. You don't know that with the salt intake. I'm just saying that's 1,100 right there.
19 of those. Yes. That's a lot.
Yeah, but that's just that. I'm not even factoring in the ice cream. Dessert.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But if you decide to do it and die, I'll still give Maggie the money.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, such a giver.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, and don't forget, tonight we're at the Homewood Grocery Brew Pub, the Grocery Brew Pub there in Homewood for Bud Light game night tonight. Come on out. And tonight, I think we're announcing the winner of the tickets.
Yeah, I think they've got up until 6 o'clock. Isn't that what Lil T told us? They got up until 6 o'clock to come in and scan the QR code.
Okay.
And then we'll announce after 6 during the show.
We've got a lot of games tonight. I mean, not the best games in the world, but they'll have all the games on. Food trucks outside, great selection of all the Bud products. They also have pool tables there and that golf simulator. So a lot of different activities to do when you come see us at the Grocery Brew Pub. Really cool bar.
All right. Can't wait to get there. It's our second visit there this year. We love it. The weather's going to be perfect. Doors will be open again a great way right after sunset tonight. We'll be out there with our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
The Burnout with the SEC Network's Peter Burns and Ryan Brown weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop unwanted guests. Save $50 from our friends at Wayne's right now. Call 866-WAYNES-1 this holiday season. Give the gift of peace and security to your home and family with a $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday and beyond. At Wayne's Pest Control, we don't just promise short-term fixes. We promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. Again, call 866-WAYNES-1 today. That's 866-WAYNES-1.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
Last night was trivia night at Odie's. What was the question, LT?
What came first, White Claws or the single Despacito?
Ooh, oh boy, that's gonna be a tough one on me. I mean, it's a shot.
Despacito.
That is Desperado.
Despacito.
Why don't you come back home?
Why don't you jump that
Elaine,
wall?
could you just be quiet for one moment?
I've been out riding laps. Despacito.
You are correct. Both are within the decade.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so close, but I'm gonna say Despacito came first.
It was actually White Claw 2016, Despacito 2017. Just some of the knowledge you'll learn when you come out to Odie's Tavern. 2 great locations. Working on something for us in the spring. I'll give you guys some information about that.
I'm excited.
But it's a great spot there in Homewood, the newest location. Same layout, right there on the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor, the original location in Crestline Village. I actually ate there before we went on stage last night. Got that south of the border wrap, that spicy coleslaw. Fantastic food for more than 30 years from Rodney Davis. Get in today. Go see Will Haver. 2 great locations of Odie's Tavern, Crestline, and now Homewood.
Okay, quickly back to, before we talk a little Auburn, Arkansas, quickly back to the discussion about 20,000 calories in one day. This is what it would look like.
You can't eat that. The fact you think you can eat this.
It's so ridiculous.
I wouldn't eat this setup, but that is 20,000 calories documented right there.
Zero chance.
Yeah. But look, there's no alcohol there at all or anything.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, but
2 drinks. You got a coffee and a milkshake.
I eat like a big person. I eat a lot, right? I have to fight myself not eating. Lunsford and number 12, I've been at events for them. We call it, what's it called? The poker event that lasts all day on a Sunday?
Poker Mania.
Poker Mania. On a given one-day, 24-hour period, could you or number 12 bang out 20,000 calories?
First off, thank you for bringing me in for this discussion.
Zero chance.
Yes, if I had to do it, like if it was like a huge bet and I had to do it over the course of 24 hours, I could do what's in this picture.
Remind me the challenge we did with you before, and we were, I think, on the second floor.
So it was my last day as an intern with the Round Table back in 2009, and I had to eat 3 of whatever the biggest jumbo double cheeseburgers from Hamburger Heaven in 30 minutes, and I ended up eating 5.5.
Okay, well, those are probably 600 calories each.
Yeah. I'm just saying that
you're about 1/8 of the way there.
Those of us that eat a lot.
That's only 30 minutes. If I had 24 hours, I'm good.
Yeah. What's great is if you look at the very bottom of the right of the picture, there's a peppermint. 1 peppermint.
Yeah, we got to get your breath better.
I mean, those of us that eat a lot. I mean, I don't know about you. Brown, I think, is in the same category with me and you, Lunsford. I don't know about 12, but he's fueling a machine back there.
What category am I in?
I think on a regular Saturday, you 12 and Lunsford, this would be tough to knock out on a regular Saturday.
The 3 of us?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
We'd be fighting over who
so
gets the
let's
last
just go through
donut.
it. So you guys have got 2 Hershey bars each.
No, that's 2 each.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got 1 big burger each. You got a bucket of chicken. You got a pizza. You got chili cheese fries. You got a foot-long coney. You've got cheese sticks. You got a dozen donuts. You got 3 milkshakes. I mean, I'm just saying it would be tough.
It wouldn't be tough. Here's the thing, like
we knocked that out
on
in
the
one
bottom
game.
right, it's like just bread.
Yep.
I guess, but like if you add cheese to that, how many more calories does that add?
That's more cheese.
But
it's more calories.
It's tastier and probably easier to eat for me.
Yeah, but the bread is the difficult part. Your stomach can only handle so much of this stuff.
The donuts would get me. That's just
yeah,
too
I mean,
much.
a box of
12
donuts? You kidding? I mean, you're the problem with the box of donuts is your sugar intake is so high. It makes you feel awful when your insulin gets out of whack. Yeah.
Our buddy Heath Haley did the half gallon of milk and the 12 donuts, and he did it in, I think it was 10 minutes.
Yep.
And he was able to keep it down, and he took cash from us, but it shut him down for 3 days because of the sugar intake.
But that was in 10 minutes. I mean, he rushed that in there.
And I'm not saying we wouldn't be shut down the next day. It's just can you do it or can you not do it? I mean,
I forgot you got to run a 10K the next day.
But I don't worry about calories on a college football Saturday. I do not count them. And inevitably, when I get early in the prime window, I don't feel great. Like I've eaten too much at that point, so I have to dial it back.
But I'm just saying that you two put a restrictor plate on your eating. You put a little bit on it. You say, okay, I'm not going to eat anymore today.
Oh, I don't.
I
eat whatever I want.
eat the same on Saturdays. I do, but on normal weekdays, yes, I don't overindulge. I eat the same exact thing for breakfast every day. And it's normally a Cliff Bar for lunch in here because we don't really get a good lunch. And then I eat anything I want to eat.
Saturdays I'm 4 meals because I'll do the late night DoorDash at
I go nuts on
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's anything I want on Saturday, college football Saturday.
Yeah, I would venture to say if you factored in food sometimes with like the day you hit that number at Floribama, if you ate 3 meals that day, you would have been close to 20,000.
I disagree. I think just based on alcohol, if we did simple math, that was like 5,000 calories.
Yeah, 15,000 in 3 meals.
It was probably 5,000 calories. I mean, 20,000 calories is out of this world.
I saw
which is
one
what
time,
makes it a discussion.
I saw one time the highest caloric intake you can get at any chain restaurant was some plate at the Cheesecake Factory, and it was like Cajun chicken pasta, and it was like 2,500.
Right.
Now imagine eating 8 of those.
It probably had the white sauce, the Alfredo.
Oh yeah,
white
Alfredo
sauce,
will kill you. Yeah.
Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Simpio. LT, tell us about Simpio, and we'll talk a little Auburn, Arkansas, and then get to Orlovsky.
Yeah, our friends at Simpio, Blake and the guys. One of the first calls we made here on the next round was to the guys at Simpio because they take care of the 4 pillars in every single office. That's HR, compliance, benefits, payroll. Check them out today for more information. Again, you can start any time of year. There's no annual contract. With that being said, 99% retention rate. Go to Simpio.com for more information.
Hugh Freeze on Peyton Thorne getting all the snaps last 2 games.
These past 2 weeks, was it more of the game plan going in that Peyton was going to play every snap, or was it he's just playing so well you're not going to take him off the field?
Well, it was this is what we're going to do offensively, and I believe Peyton's skill sets are the most prepared for what we're doing. It's not a negative toward anybody else. I think when you talk about playing with tempo, setting our protections, throwing accuracy with footballs and understanding coverages, I think he's the farthest along in that. I think Holden had one heck of a week last week, and he can really spin it, and he's probably one that I think he's got a bright future.
Boy, he dialed that back quick. I don't know what he's about to say.
It's a good way to push. Like Peyton Thorne's had a couple of good games.
Yeah.
Let's keep pushing Peyton Thorne by giving Holden a little shout out.
I was on the golf course yesterday with a big Auburn fan. He says what they've done is make it really simple. It's either there or do something with your legs. Really quick passes, quick reads, and let's just go a little bit.
Hey, that's good to simplify. By the way, the most calories ever eaten in a day. Oh, sorry, Dunaway. You brought the shit up.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Most calories eaten
50,000 by a 750-pound guy.
What does the hot dog guy
I don't know. Not clear. Not even close.
Joey Chestnut. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I mean, those are what a hot dog's 200 calories. He's eating 60 of them.
Nathan King, 24/7 Sports, reported that in practice, I think it was Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, that Gurner was clearly working with the twos the entire viewing period they had in practice. Now, that doesn't mean the entire practice was that way. The entire viewing period. They have gone away from Robbie Ashford, and if, in fact, he is running third team right now, I don't know how much more you're going to see of him because...
But they gave him a chance this year. He played a lot.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm
They gave him
talking
a
about
chance,
even in a specific role, like
Yeah.
Red Zone Robbie, what she was early in the year, short yardage stuff. I just don't know that you're ever going to – I don't know that you're going to see much of him anymore.
Gave him plenty of a chance.
Yeah, it feels like this – my point is it feels like this is Peyton Thorne's team moving forward with Holden Gurner as your backup. It's what it appears right now.
Because going back to spring football, if after spring, if Robbie Ashford had transferred, it would have shocked nobody, right?
Nobody. And I fully expect him to transfer after this year.
And then we got into camp, and everyone was like, well, if they name Peyton Thorne the starting quarterback, then probably won't see Robbie Ashford. Yeah. Well, we saw a lot of Robbie Ashford this year.
Now, you still are going to have to put up with Thorne. The mistake Thorne made against Vandy will get Auburn beat against Alabama, against Arkansas. It's not going to get them beat against Vandy. But you make a mistake like that against Arkansas and Alabama, you just don't have enough margin for error to make those types of mistakes.
You have a feel on this Auburn-Arkansas game? It's a tough one for me to get a feel on.
Yeah, I think it's really, really tough. I would stay away from this game, at least right now.
Yeah. It's hard to read either one of these teams. Like, Auburn is playing better. I think they have improved.
I think I would take a look at the over.
They've done it against State and Vandy. Arkansas won at Florida. Not a fluky win. But, I mean, they're up 14-0 right out of the chute because they strip a guy on the sideline and run it back for a touchdown. Does that mean you're getting better, or you were just fortunate getting a turnover? You know what I'm saying?
It's a great point. Going back to the competition Auburn's beaten these last two games, they look good in. Not great competition. Arkansas's got a lot of close losses to really good teams. I don't know how. I mean, where's the mindset of this team? Rocket Sanders being back for Arkansas makes it interesting. But on the flip side, Jarquez Hunter is starting to play like Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah. It is. I'm with Lance. It is a very, very hard game to figure out. I've got zero feel on it.
Yeah, I think over the 48.5 is where I would play it.
Yeah, so you just think a lot of points in this one more than anything.
Yeah. Caused by good offense or mistakes by the offenses setting up a combination of both.
Yeah, I think this game, much like Arkansas, Florida last week, played into the 60s. I could see that.
Yeah, and I think Arkansas, Texas A&M played over that number too. Back in the day. Top of the hour, Dan Orlovsky coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by Dr. B, the guy who has made LT's hair come back and make him, that hair is, somebody in their 20s right now.
Doubled in thickness since I went to see Dr. Beckenstein. Call him today, 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Again, I do 3 non-invasive treatments on the couch, 30 minutes each time, 3 times a week. That's it. For more information, t3hair.net.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
If you're from here, you know the best time of golf in Alabama is the fall. That means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Montgomery or Birmingham. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline. The Next Round golf card is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dan Orlovsky coming up momentarily. Talk a little NFL football as we get going with another NFL weekend coming up. By the way, reports in Boston about Bill Belichick, something I think we disagree with. We'll talk about that with Orlovsky as well. Storm Restoration Roofing right now. They just finished one of the great homes of one of our viewers, and Greg was out there yesterday finishing it up. You can get a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531 for that free no-cost roof inspection, Storm Restoration Roofing. Or just look that guy up, Greg Nelson, Greg from Pell City on Facebook. He'll take care of you. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust him, and that makes a difference whether it's storm damage or maybe you just want to replace a roof. He handles that as well, but also gives you a free no-cost roof inspection. Check him out right now, 205-542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. You guys help me out here. I don't know the status of Luther Burden in that big game, Missouri, Tennessee.
I'll see if there's an update.
Got hurt, late in that Georgia game. That seems to be a pretty big factor in that contest.
I did get the update you asked me about pre-show. That's probably even a bigger one.
Which one was that?
That was Jaden Daniels.
He practiced limited practice yesterday, so I assume they're thinking game time decision.
They said after practice yesterday they were going to evaluate him before today's practice to see if it were a contact practice, could he take contact? Now, he's a quarterback, so he would be off contact anyway. But what Brian Kelly was saying is, if this were a normal situation, is he cleared for contact?
Could he play in a game?
And if so, he's playing Saturday. If not, I don't think they were going to let him play from the way Brian Kelly talked. I cannot find anything on Luther Burden, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, he was banged up at the end. That's a pretty big one. Looks like Keon Coleman's going to play this week.
Questionable, by the way. Luther Burden would be listed as questionable, he said yesterday.
Okay, Luther Burden questionable. Keon Coleman of Florida State, healthier for them. The whole team is. Looks like Coleman's going to come back and play. He was in street clothes last week. Burden's important for that Missouri contest there. Tennessee, Missouri. People are acting like, oh, Missouri played Georgia so well. That's going to be, Missouri should beat Tennessee. I don't know how y'all feel about that game.
Exactly opposite from that. I think Georgia's about to beat Missouri twice here. I think Tennessee is going to go to Columbia and win this game. I think it was an emotional game that Missouri put a lot into. Physical game against Georgia. You come back home and you get a really good Tennessee team. I think Tennessee's going to win this game.
I saw it as a New Year's Six elimination game. I mean, one of these teams still got an outside shot at that with 2 losses. I think Missouri's the better team, but nothing's going to surprise me coming out of this game. And if Luther Burden, the third, doesn't play, he is going to be the best player on the field. If he doesn't play, it's a huge factor.
How does Tennessee win if Burden plays? How does Tennessee win this game, in your opinion, Brown? Just the come down after the loss to Georgia?
I think there's a lot of that. I think Tennessee had the bye week. They come back against UConn. They're rested, healthy. Played very well against UConn, but that's UConn, obviously. I think Joe Milton has played some pretty good quarterback for them lately. This is just one of those.
He didn't in the second half against Alabama, though.
No, he did not, but first half was phenomenal.
He was. It was the best I've ever seen him
UConn. I mean, that is one bad half. You're right. He did not play great in that half. That game was a weird game. I don't know that I totally pin that on Joe Milton, but I do think it's more of a gut feel, but a gut feel tells me Tennessee beats Missouri and Columbia. Let's talk some NFL now. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky joins us each week at this time. He does so courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on at MyBookie.ag to get that sign-on bonus, 50%. And that's up to $1,000. You can play it right away there in MyBookie.ag. What is up, Dan? Welcome in. How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing good, bud. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. I watched you Sunday morning.
Awesome.
I'm not going to talk about my Dolphins. I am going to ask you a Kansas City Chiefs question, though. Did they have enough offense to win a Super Bowl? Because that offense got mired down against Miami.
Yeah, I think – do I think they have enough to win the Super Bowl? In most years, no. In this year – I still say yes because of the coach and the quarterback and the interior of their offensive line. It is their flaw that no one's getting open on the outside, really outside of Travis. That like if they don't go and get back into or win it, that will be the reason why. Their defense will keep them in every game. Their defense is fantastic. It's as good as anybody's in the NFL. And so you sit there and go, okay, it's the year of the defense in the NFL. Offenses aren't scoring certainly like they have in the years past. So I start to look at these teams and go, okay, who's got the best defense that I think is in big games going to show up the most? And Steve Spagnuolo, their defensive coordinator, has a track record of that. And then while I'm concerned because no one getting open and the tackles both struggling in pass protection and had to have that together is a bad recipe. I still think like since they're still so young, Rasheed Rice,
Lost Stan's connection there for just a little bit. We'll try to get back with him again tonight. The season, the weekend starts with Panthers and Bears, 1-7 versus 2-7, as they battle with the Cardinals for that first overall pick there. So the weekend cranking up.
I think you may be back, Dan. We lost your audio for a second. Yeah. We lost your audio for 1 second.
I'm sorry about
that. That's okay.
That's okay. I still think because of the quarterback and the defense, that they can get some of the pass game situation figured out in big games.
C.J. Stroud, I mean, he has been amazing. He set rookie record 470 passing yards last weekend.
Yeah.
His 147.8 passer rating, the highest in a game by a rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL. He leads the league in touchdown to interception ratio of 14-1. There was a debate back in May, and this probably isn't fair to come to any kind of judgment right now. C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Bryce, on the other hand, has gone in a bad direction, 2 pick sixes last week.
Yeah.
First, let's start with C.J. Stroud. I mean, how good can this kid be? And then on the flip side, we get to see Bryce again tonight. Is this just going to be a work in progress for him?
Yeah, so for CJ, I think that CJ, I've said this, he's a young Joe Burrow. The efficiency of movement, the stroke, the ball placement, the type of throw. It reminds me of watching Joe when he first came in. He could be as good as that, 100%. He is that impressive. I think the way that he sees everything defensively and understands what the answer is to all the problems is rare for young players. It just is, and I think it's a superhero trait at that position. Want to see him against Cincinnati this weekend because their defense. I think he should be in the MVP conversation. Do I think he wins it? Probably not, because best teams quarterback is. But the fact that the number 2 pick in the NFL draft as a team at 4-4 midway through the season is an ode to that. He's like top 7 in almost every single category. With Bryce, the main difference, like if you ask me the main difference between these two guys, it's the offensive lines. CJ's is significantly better than Bryce's. Bryce's it's so much worse than I had anticipated. They have no speed on the perimeter. So, I remained adamant that, this is a 36-month process with Carolina and Bryce Young. I hope that he hangs in there mentally, and I think he can because he's getting beat up right now. But I have very little concern with what Bryce Young is going to be.
I watched it happen. I still can't believe it. Explain to our viewers how difficult what Josh Dobbs did this past weekend to come in and win a football game, because that seems to be in one time zone and then with a different team to come in and win an NFL game off the bench seemed to be pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about quarterbacks and we usually say second year in an offense, expect to jump, or man, this is his third year and expect to jump. I mean, he had not taken reps in that offense in practice, and he didn't come from the same scheme. It's not like he came from a lateral scheme. What he ran in Arizona is different than what he's running both in scheme and terminology. It would be like, to try to put it into context of what he did, it would be almost like me taking you guys and then dropping you into a foreign speaking country, and you guys on your first day there at whatever job you're at, thriving in that job without speaking that language. I think that's kind of the context of what he was able to go do. And credit Kevin O'Connell, but it was one of the more impressive things, certainly in the NFL this year.
Dan, we don't even speak English, and we're trying to thrive at this job. Dan Orlovsky is with us.
Yeah, I don't even know what a noun is.
Yeah, so. I know. Trust me, we don't either. Dan with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round to get that sign-on bonus, 50% sign-on match there, up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. If I made the argument that Baltimore is the best AFC team, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to dispute it. I don't know if I would agree. I'd still probably say Kansas City. I think Baltimore's awesome. We're actually going to do a huge segment on NFL Live today about Baltimore's defense and whatnot. But love their offense and the way that it's evolving, their run game, the way they're using their personnel, the feel for the receivers in attachment to Lamar is showing itself. Here's my caveat with Baltimore. If they're the best team and going to go get to the AFC title and or the championship, the Super Bowl, they're going to see quarterbacks that they haven't seen yet this year. They've only the best quarterback QBR wise they've seen is Gardner Minshew, who I think is 8th in the NFL or 9th in the NFL. They saw Joe Burrow week 2. Okay. Joe was hurt. We all know that. So they haven't to get to the AFC title. We are a pretty good ground to say they're going to have to go through like a Patrick Mahomes, a Tua, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, a Justin Herbert, a Trevor Lawrence. They haven't played those cats yet. So as awesome as it is to watch their defense playing at that level, we haven't seen this defense see the guys that they're going to have to go through.
But 2 of those wins over this 4-game winning streak against Detroit and this past weekend against Seattle, I mean, those are solid quarterbacks in Jared Goff and Geno Smith, and those were complete annihilations. I know those games were in Baltimore. We'll see how it shakes out with the standings. But if they play like that, I don't think anybody can beat them.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and say they're a bad team. I just want to, as great as I think they've played, one of my things going into this season was like, how good is their secondary coverage-wise? And I just don't think they've been challenged. Gino and Jared are good players. They've played to like top 10 level for parts of like last season and certainly parts of this year. But we know that it's a different level when you're playing some of the guys that I rattled off. We just do. It's different. And so I want to see kind of how that defense and that secondary specifically plays against some of those upper echelon quarterbacks.
What's your expectations at some point for Aaron Rodgers to play this year? Because the dude is teasing me every pregame now.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch. It really is. It's fascinating to sit there and see a guy move in that regards. I've never done an Achilles, but everyone who talks about it, they're mind all over it. The Jets matter. The Jets are going to have to be in meaningful games for him to and for them to justify him getting back. So if the Jets can stay in that picture and their offense is going to have to play better, then I guess it's not going to be shocking, even though it'll be shocking. Like I'm not going to say no to the guy.
Would you come back behind that offensive line, though, Dan? I mean, that is not a good offensive line.
Yeah, I think quarterbacks help offensive lines more than we give them credit for. He would be one guy who does, just as far as like manipulating and minimizing how bad they are. Elijah Vera Tucker injury, him being out for the season does matter. So I think I would, because the defense is so good. Like that, they could beat anyone because of that defense.
He is Dan Orlovsky. You can see him all weekend long on ESPN, both college football and the NFL, now that he's back from Frankfurt. Dan, thank you very much for the time. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dan with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up at MyBookie.ag. Get that 50% sign-on match there up to $1,000. That is money you can play right away at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. mybookie.ag, code next round, mybookie.ag, code next round.
We have these signals, especially from our radio days, where we didn't have cameras on us, that we would do it. Let's see if Rockstar remembers this one. What is that one, Rockstar?
Spotlight, man.
Spotlight.
Rockstar fired up about it, too.
Spotlight time, brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. It's where we go to pay off steak bets. It's where we go now for, Thanksgiving. We go there on date night, steak night. All that stuff at New York Butcher Shop.
Yeah, I talked to our friend Jim just a couple of days ago. He's excited about Thanksgiving. Only a couple of weeks out, 2 weeks from today. Go on. I've got to remember this to do. I'm going to set a reminder. I've got to order my turkey and sides because there's only a limited number. Taking reservations now, highly recommended. They've sold out of turkeys each year. They don't want people to miss out. Turkeys are fresh from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys are fresh. They can smoke or brine them. All of their side dishes prepared in-house will feed 8 to 10 people. Don't forget desserts like pies, cakes, that delicious banana bread, great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. For more information, stop by one of those 2 great locations, the original Cava Heights, one right there in Greystone Highway 119. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
All right, Brownie, start us off. Stock up, stock down.
Stock up, Red Zone Q. Quinshon Judkins has scored 28 touchdowns in his career. 28 touchdowns. How many do you think are red zone runs? 28 touchdowns in his career at Ole Miss.
21.
Oh, I would think. So how many total?
28 total touchdowns in his Ole Miss career.
26.
26 red zone runs. Only 2 touchdowns outside the red zone. All of them this year. All 12 this year from inside the red zone. That's the guy that is trying. That tells me Ole Miss going to have to get some red zone possessions for Quinshon Judkins to add points, right? He does not score from outside the red zone for whatever reason. It's kind of wild.
Went in as one of the top 2 or 3 rated running backs of the year. I don't think he's a top 5 guy right now.
Well, he's playing better of late, though.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
My stock down is Washington's defense. I was just looking at the points Washington's given up defensively. In Pac-12 play, 32, 24, 33, 7 against Arizona State in a weird game, 33 at Stanford, 42 at Southern California. 32, 24, 33, 33, 42. When you give up that many points, you know what generally happens at some point? You lose a football game. And I'm starting to think it is Saturday. Their defense is just not playing championship level at Washington.
Funny you say that, Brown.
Jimmy, give it to me.
My stock down is the Huskies' defense.
It's not good, Jimmy.
Last 2 games, 1,000 yards in 10 touchdowns. I think it was Stanford and who? USC?
Stanford, the last 2 games?
Yeah.
Yes, Stanford and USC. Both on the road, to be fair.
Yeah, Huskies and defense. Not only we got the same one, we're in unison in saying it.
Yeah.
My stock up, Horns' running game. They've had to get better because of Malik Murphy. I think they're the reason. The run game is the reason why the Horns survived Fort Worth this weekend. Jonathan Brooks and C.J. Baxter, the Hook'em Horns running game keeps them moving forward. That's stock up. Brown, LT?
My stock up is going to be Jalen Milroe. We had him on today, but you look at the last 4 games this month of football, going on the road against A&M, playing quality opponent like Tennessee, obviously LSU, 9 touchdowns, only 1 turnover. He's playing clean football. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and this can be a scary team if he starts playing at elite level. My stock down, let's just go USC in general. The defense has given up 44 points per game over the last 6. You just fired your defensive coordinator. Lincoln Riley just took on his 3rd regular season loss for the first time in his head coaching career. And do you guys know over the last 14 games what USC is against top 25 teams?
Last 14, USC versus the top 25 is going to be, this sounds stupid, but I'm going to say 4-10.
I was going to say, is that a 14? I was going to say 5-9.
It's going to blow you away. 2-12.
Oh, wow.
So they never beat anybody any good anymore.
No, they don't. And
is that Penn State or USC?
It's USC. It's USC. And look, this is embarrassing because you have an elite talent at quarterback. You have what is viewed as an elite play-calling guy as your head coach. You've got talent all over the place, collective spending a shit ton of money, and it's not equating to win. So this is going to be something to look forward to. I'm not going to say it's a big game Saturday night. This would be a huge win for Lincoln Riley to be able to knock somebody out of the college football playoff in a top 10 win. But right now, they're not beating teams of substance.
Yeah, I don't fear USC beating Oregon. I think it'll be a better game than some think. I do think Washington's in trouble, though. Their defense has not played well enough.
All right, that's happening this weekend. That's our stock report today. When we come back, we'll get to trash and then to Trent Dilfer coming up at 11:45 today to talk a little UAB football with us, our weekly visit with him. Show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Open for lunch right now on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Your chance to get by there and enjoy that wonderful spread, whether it's the hand-cut chicken fingers, whether it's the mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese, the slaw, the southern fried chicken, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I don't think there's a po' boy on that thing, but they got po' boys there. They got so much that you can ask for. It's Champy's Chicken. Sterling and the crew right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com.
Subscribe and set alerts at Disrupt the Media on YouTube.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day, your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Live Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
I don't blame you.
That's a Dunaway move right there.
Absolutely. Trash in just a second. The show being brought to you by our great friends at Bromberg's. The holiday season's coming up.
Yeah, our friends at Bromberg's want to remind you, they are the diamond specialist since 1836, family owned and operated. If you're thinking about popping the question this holiday season, get in, see our friends at Bromberg's, Mountain Brook, Summit, 2 locations. You can always shop and check out their vast selection of incredible options this holiday season. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box. It's Brombergs.com.
A couple of quick things here before we get to trash. Trent Dilfer at 11:45 coming up. The Boston Globe reporting this morning, if Bill Belichick comes back from Germany 2-8, I have a feeling the Crafts could make a move in the bye week. Now, you guys have been hearing different things.
Chance. Well, I mean, I'm just going off Daniel Jeremiah, who is a really good, works for the NFL Network, worked in NFL franchises, right? I mean, this is a guy that knows the inner workings, and he said it is just insane to think about this because he's their best asset. You can get in the NFL draft picks for a head coach when he's under contract. Sean Payton. What was Sean Payton? What did the Broncos give up for Sean Payton? Wasn't it a first-round pick? Am I wrong about that?
It sounds about right. I mean, Gruden was the same thing from Raiders to Tampa.
Why in the world would you fire him if you can get draft picks out of him? The season is lost. Why fire him?
Well, he's going to be 72 at the end of the year. My whole thing is there is no way, unless something internally.
Well, there's reports that continue to be that he's lost the locker room. The players are upset with him.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But the season's over.
But still, the season is over, and you owe him the respect, a guy that won 8 championships for that organization. So unless he and Kraft got sideways and something massive is going on internally, but I don't think there's any way you can cut the cord in season. Maybe out of season once the season's over.
There were reports, remember, before the season that he and Robert Kraft have not been on the same page for a couple of years.
But Robert Kraft is a good businessman. Yes. You'll grant me that, right? And if Robert Kraft knows all I got to do is sit here and watch another month and a half of this, and then I can get a draft pick or 2 out of him, why would you fire him right now? Maybe you don't get the draft picks, right? Maybe you get to the end and nobody wants him. All right, then you fire him then.
Yeah, and I think this would be more looked at. This would be a Dan Gilbert move in Cleveland, writing a note late night to LeBron James hammered. It's not going to be a good look for Robert Kraft, and I don't think he wants that at all, as much as these guys might absolutely hate each other. I don't know. But the optics of this, getting rid of a guy that has won 8 championships middle of the season, is awful.
Boy, I was too young to remember or to really get what was going on. But I remember my grandfather, Jesse Lusk, my mom's dad, was a Cowboys fan and completely swore them off over the way they dealt with Tom Landry.
Right.
Was it to this level, though, where Landry had clearly played out and he was just riding it out? Or
they were not as good anymore. Sort of like Don Shula last year at Miami.
Here's the way it worked. Jerry Jones took the team over.
Oh, yeah, I knew all this.
Walked him out to midfield, shot him in the back of the head, and hired Jimmy Johnson.
You would have thought the way my granddad reacted, that's exactly how it went down.
But this is, at least they had the plan in place. Like, there's no super coach ready to take this thing over.
Yeah. Trash Right Now brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit the big button, Rockstar.
The college
I'll also tell you this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling is the best in the business at filling that hole in your stomach for lunch, dinner. Brian's that chicken overnight cooked to order. It is Champy's chicken. Rockstar, hit the big button, man.
Congratulations, The Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019. Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every single step of the process. Visit the locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. This is almost an impossible story to believe, but we'll roll with it. An Australian farmer says he's lucky to be alive after repelling a crocodile attack by biting back at the animal. Now, cattle producer Colin Devereaux has spent a month in the hospital after being bitten by a 10-foot saltwater crocodile in the Northern Territory. He told ABC News he bit the crocodile's eyelid in his struggle to survive.
Ouch, that's got to hurt.
That's precise, too. It's easy to get.
That's good aim.
Mr. Devereaux said his ordeal began after he stopped at a lake while he was traveling to build fencing near the Finesse River last month. He paused by the lake, noticing fish swimming in the middle of its retreating waters. After he stepped away again, the crocodile latched onto his right foot and started shaking him like a, quote, rag doll, then pulled him into the water. Mr. Devereaux told ABC he first tried kicking the crocodile in the ribs with his other foot before biting the reptile back. Quote, I was in such an awkward position, but by accident, my teeth caught his eyelid. It was pretty thick, like holding onto leather. I jerked back on his eyelid, and he let go. He said then he leapt away, took great steps towards his car. Said he chased me for about 4 meters, but then he stopped. They used some towel and some rope to stop the bleeding before his brother drove him 80 miles to the Royal Darwin Hospital.
I like how the brother just appears. I'll drive you.
Yeah, I'll take you to the hospital.
You did good, buddy.
I'll go shoot the crocodile.
I mean, is it not like, they got in some kind of domestic dispute? He stepped in a bear trap that was set up by his lover's jilted husband.
Yeah.
And they made up. There's no way a saltwater croc is pulling a guy out to drown him. You can't get away from these animals.
Nope, I don't believe this.
I don't either.
Yep. Biting him on the eyelid, too. That's just, I don't know. It's just like an unnecessary piece of...
And I don't know if you notice, this crocodile skin is tough.
Yeah.
It's going to get hard to get teeth.
Well, and there's nowhere else,
crocodile.
like, if you're going to get it, I guess the most vulnerable part might be the eyelid, which I never would have thought about. But you can't say you bet a crocodile back. You got to find something.
I think people often don't understand the difference between alligators and crocodiles. Now, Gary the Gator told me crocodiles are racist. The crocodiles are racist, and that's the big difference. But crocodiles are far more aggressive than alligators.
Pointed snout.
Well, the
Crocodile.
pointed snout's the big thing, but they are far more aggressive than alligators.
Yeah. A 10-footer, too. Would have taken him on a death roll.
Big croc.
And where was this? Not in Texas, though, right?
No, this is in Australia.
Okay, good.
So we got a man told
won't be there.
police.
Not in Texas.
A woman stabbed him in the hand after he repeatedly asked for a TV remote. Now, the incident happened around 12:15 a.m. on Tuesday, according to the criminal complaint from Michelle Robinson, 57 years old, of Pittsburgh. The victim told Robinson was keeping the remote control from him in her purse, and he asked for it multiple times. Now, according to the court paperwork, the third time the victim asked, Robinson pulled a knife out, stabbed him in the hand. Court paperwork said that Robinson initially told police victim stabbed himself, then later said the victim had assaulted her. Police said that Robinson later made a spontaneous utterance that she did not stab the victim. Robinson had also told police the man wanted to watch football, but she wanted to listen to music.
And my wife always keeps the remote in her purse. So you always got to keep it in the purse. You never know
That's
when
right.
you're going to use it.
Never find it there.
She wants to listen to music. She can listen to music anywhere. I got to watch the damn game.
So I don't know about you guys. I used to, and I think it was like a grandfather or something gave me some old $2 bills, and they had like different stamps on them, and I never really thought much about them. I don't know where they are now.
I never thought they were real.
Yeah, they did look a little fake. They look like that. It's such a clean, freshly printed look.
I've got a couple of those, though.
Well, here we go. U.S. Currency Auctions estimates that uncirculated $2 bills from 1890 could sell for up to $4,500. And uncirculated bills from nearly every year between 1862 and 1917 are worth at least $1,000. Now, newer bills could also have significant value. $2 bill printed in 2003 recently sold at an auction for $2,400.
They haven't been to a Clemson bowl game.
This particular bill has a very low serial number for the 2003 series, was sold through Heritage Auction, the largest numismatic auction house in the world. It was later resold for $4,000, but Heritage now estimates it could be purchased for $6,000. So if you possess an uncirculated 1890 bill with a red seal, it's valued at $4,500. $2 bills with red seals can sell between $300 and $2,500. With those with brown or blue seals may fetch as much as hundreds of dollars.
I think in hindsight, this was a mistake on my part. But when I was in high school at Saks, one day in the lunchroom, I was given change, and it was a $1 bill, and it looked different than the other ones.
Silver certificate?
Silver certificate.
Yeah. I don't think those are worth anything.
I didn't either. And I showed it to Miss Haynes, she was a math teacher. I think maybe we were in geometry or whatever. Teresa Haynes is her name. And she said, I'll give you $20 for that right now.
Red flag.
But first off, why would she take advantage of a kid?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
She got Haynes her way.
In hindsight, she was not. It's not worth it. To Lance's point, it's not worth any more than $1 now.
If Miss Haynes is smart, she would have said, my husband who's dying, he collects old currency. And that's a piece he'd love to have. It's probably not worth anything monetarily. But I'll give you
Haynes, if he's dying, why does he care?
I'll give you a $5 bill.
No, she offered me a $20, and I immediately thought, if she's offered me a $20 on the spot, this is worth something else. So I said, no, thank you. And I've still got it to this day, and I don't think it's worth any more than $1.
And I bet it was when she was offering.
Well, maybe so.
10-player handwrite. That was before the internet was blowing up, though.
No,
right?
no, there's no doubt. This was in the early 90s.
This is interesting. One man's long-standing history of making threats towards a nearby wedding venue culminated with him launching a firework at a helicopter carrying a newly married couple, according to Georgia deputies. Now, a Cherokee County deputy was working as security October 20th wedding when he heard a, quote, mortar firework hurling towards the departing helicopter carrying the newlyweds. Now, after further investigation, the sheriff's office issued a warrant for David Jeter While working his extra duty job, the officer was aware that other issues had occurred at Rocky's Lake Estate, where the wedding was being held. The sheriff's office said deputies said the owner, William Morris, known as his alias Rocky, had a particular problem with Jeter, who was accused of making threats against employees and wedding guests before.
Jeter's always hitting bombs.
Jeter lives 470 feet away from Rocky's Lake Estate, according to the report, and has repeatedly harassed passerbys. To access parts of the venue, deputies said guests would need to take a golf cart that would drive past Jeter's house, where he would make sideways motions to his neck with his hands, which I guess is the old throat slash.
Old throat slash. Yeah, you get 15 for that in a football game.
And he would yell, "Don't do it," to guests. On the night of the firework incident, the bride and groom celebrating at the end of their wedding boarded a helicopter about 9:45 p.m. According to the report, around that time, the officer was told by an employee that Jeter was outside of his home, quote, yelling in anger. Helicopter lifted off about 15 minutes later, and while flying off, many people in the venue heard a firework shoot off and explode. They said it came in close proximity to the helicopter as it was still low, and the owner suspected Jeter may have launched the rocket.
Can we also talk about how over the top your wedding is if you depart in a helicopter, not a car?
No, that's fine.
50 Shades of Grey. I think they did that.
They did a lot more things.
Did you watch that movie?
Oh, he wants I'm sure he wants a dungeon, a red dungeon or whatever.
We were going to Tuscaloosa last week, and Little T and EG were riding with me and for the Coca-Cola show. And that song, I was on, I think, the Pulse or the 10 spot or whatever on XM, and that song came on from that movie. I was like, oh, yeah, this is my song for my favorite movie. And for a minute, they both thought I was serious.
That's a great song. You're talking about The Weeknd's Earned It?
No, it's
I Believe I Can Fly?
No.
No, Space Jams. My bad.
I Will Always Love You.
Don't get those movies mixed
Guys,
up.
I'm not going to remember the name of it. I just knew it was from 50 Shades of Grey.
Ellie Goulding.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's her.
I like that.
I like the song, but I was like, this is for my favorite movie. For a minute, EG and Little T took me seriously. And I started thinking, how creepy would it be if some 40-year-old man was like, my favorite movie
Well,
is 50 Shades of
Dunaway,
Grey.
it's top 10, isn't it?
No, it's not top 10. Top 15.
franchise.
Top 15 action movie.
Ellie Goulding, though. Ellie Goulding's pretty sneaky hot. You know, she dated that banged-up-looking...
Post Malone?
No. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what his song Don't's about. How she was staying in the same hotel and she went and banged another dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I said don't.
I specifically asked you not to do
please.
that.
Do not.
Yes.
But we're going to shorten this up. Okay, finally. It looks like Bigfoot has escaped North America.
Oh, no. He's on the run?
Well, there are now claims Bigfoot is at a lodge in the British countryside. They have found his huge size 23 feet.
Yep, it adds up.
I mean, that looks like it.
Yep.
Or that's number 12.
Yeah.
Now, the creature's footprints in woodland lair have been found in Wales, according to filmmakers. Investigators say the large footprints measure 16 inches, the same as Shaquille O'Neal's.
Yeah. What do we have to give like a perspective of size here?
Lighter.
I've got a cigarette lighter. All right, lay that next to it. Yeah, that'll work. Everybody knows how big those are.
Shaq and this is 16. I think 12. Where's an 18?
No, that's 22.
23.
That's 23. What is
23.
Shaq? Is he 23 as well?
I thought he said 16 in there.
No, I think
Okay.
it's 16 inches long,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. But who knows where Shaq was? Maybe Shaq was running around the
he could have been.
English
The
countryside barefooted.
And dropped his
I go
heater.
to the bathroom.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, are you buying a home? Major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200, online mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
By the way, our Hemp Hill, unbelievable story of the day. How about Erin Matson of North Carolina? Have you seen her?
You know, I have not.
She is the most, now stay with me on this.
Okay.
She's the most decorated field hockey player in North Carolina history.
How have I missed this?
Yeah, how do we not know this name?
She ran out of eligibility last year.
Okay.
They made her the head coach at North Carolina.
I did see this. She's the youngest Division I head coach in any sport, I think.
She's 23 years old,
Yeah.
the head coach. They just won the ACC championship, and they're number one rated in the country from North Carolina.
Good
That's
for
pretty
her.
good.
That's a pretty cool story.
The old coach turned player there, Erin Matson. So good for her. And look at the crowd they play in front of. By the
That's
way.
no joke, man. They got a lot of people there.
That crowd is huge. Upper deck crowd at field hockey.
Field hockey, not even
Seats
lacrosse.
are light blue, too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
Well, yeah, but still, Lance, there are people there. There are people there.
I get it.
Actual breathing humans.
Trent Dilfer next. We'll talk about UAB's big win and what's next on a special Veterans Day weekend against Navy. It's next on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Harbin's Outdoors is an award-winning landscape company specializing in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, and hardscaping. Jeremy and his team are a one-stop shop for your pool construction needs. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the final hardscapes around the pool and everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_Outdoors to see it for yourself, or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718. At Harbins, you and your home are the center of all that they do.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
All right, looking forward to this one. UAB and Navy after another impressive performance by the Blazers. Part of a big weekend. I don't know about run defense, if that's on Trent Dilfer's mind or not. You think it is playing the Navy?
The old Navy?
Navy likes to run it.
They're normally good on the water. They're only good on the water. Navy
No, they like to run it, man.
Coach Dilfer is with us now. He's presented each week by Legacy, the official credit union of the UAB Blazers. He's with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Coach? How are you today?
I haven't slept all week thinking about run defense. It's not like we've stopped it real well this year, and this team knows how to run it as well as anybody. So another great challenge for us on an incredible day to be playing the Naval Academy.
What a interesting game, though, coming off the 45-42 win over FAU. I know as a coach, you probably will say, I'll take a win any way we can get it. We remember, I think it was an Auburn, Mississippi State 3-2 victory years ago. But would you rather win a game like this, 45-42, or would you rather win a 14-10?
I don't know. I'm just glad we won, man. I was proud of – I don't know the answer to that. I was just proud of our guys after the meltdown that was going on in the third quarter, early fourth, that they somehow – were able to reset, not go in the tank, and make some plays to help us win the game. I think it speaks to why even that last week at 2-6, the guys came in with an 8-0 attitude. They came in working hard, enthusiastic, trying to get better. I mean, that's all you can ask for as a coach, is that your players buy into the week-to-week process of trying to get better. And then I'm glad they got some affirmation on game day with a win. It doesn't really matter to me how they got it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Coach, because record-wise, I know it's not where anybody wants it to be, but we've said it several times, almost every week. The product is better than I expected it to be. You guys have done a wonderful job of coaching this group up, and you know the work they put in. At some point, you want to see them get a little reward, a little harvest for all their work, right?
Yeah, and it's even better at practice. That was the most frustrating thing. And my entire life in football, I have never – it's one of the truths has been, if you practice well, really, really well, and that doesn't always mean you don't have mistakes, there's not a ball dropped or there's not a misassignment, but just the overall temperament of practice, the engagement in practice, the effort, the physicality, it has almost always in my career panned out to playing well on game day. And this year it hasn't. We've looked really good in practice some weeks, and you really see the progression these guys are making, and young players too. And then we go out on game day and we act uncharacteristically and are uncharacteristic of the way we practiced. And that's been frustrating. And Saturday, I thought for the most part, outside, a 15-minute stretch, it was starting to look like the way we would practice. We kind of dominated that game outside of 15 minutes. So we're getting there. I'm encouraged. I like these guys. We've played, I think it's now 15 true freshmen. It's over 20 if you count redshirt freshmen. Everett Rousseau started inside linebacker, had 10 tackles as a true freshie. Amari continues to wow us with the 17-year-old's ability to perform at a high level on Saturdays. And there's a lot of other freshmen that are playing at a high level too. So there's a lot of encouraging things. We just now have to, stack them up. And that's been a challenge for this team is handling success. So that's really been the focus this week.
Coach Trent Dilfer with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us each week courtesy of Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of the UAB Blazers. It's always different when you play a service academy. Those men and the men and women in the armed forces, but specifically the men on the team, they're called to a different level here. We saw a video of Troy. They played at West Point earlier this year, and their entire team went down and slapped five with the cadets there in the stands. Is that something you want to be organic? Do you try to coach your team to do something like that after the game?
So I used education this week. I saw that. I wrestled with that. I want ours to be more organic. We will stand behind the midshipmen after the game. It's a tradition they have, and honor them as they hear the fight song. And but we talked a lot about understanding the life of a midshipman. I researched hard this weekend on what a day in the life looks of a Navy football player, and I put a big PDF together and showed our boys the regimen that they go through and the rigor of being a student athlete at the Naval Academy. Our boys were shocked. I mean, it is relentless what these kids go through. Talked about the 5-year service commitment they make after they graduate. Today, I did a lesson on just Veterans Day in general. It's amazing how many young people are not taught civics these days and really understand the depths of Veterans Day and the sacrifices so many have made for our freedoms. And I think there was an aha moment for our kids. We're like, oh, wow, we're playing against some badasses, as humans. And I think that's a healthy respect to have for these guys is they are badasses in every sense of the word at a young age for what they're willing to sacrifice and what they're willing to go through for the betterment of their country. And I think we'll play in such a way to earn their respect. And that's kind of our theme is, you go up there and earn their respect by how you compete and how you play. And then after the game, we can honor them and thank them for all that they do.
Can you kind of remind us what that daily grind is just on the fly? Because I remember reading something about it when David Robinson, who was playing basketball and got that Naval Academy to an Elite Eight. But this has been 35 years ago when I read this article in SI, just what they go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to know it. They're up bright and early. They have formations at 7. They have a quick breakfast. They have 4 true periods. They're taking classes like calculus and thermodynamics and tactical strategy. They're not taking your normal core classes that most people take. They have a brief lunch. They go back. A football player they use their lunch to actually have football meetings. and then the lower classmen have a fifth and a sixth period. The upperclassmen use that time for football. Then they have practice, and there's quotes from many of their players saying the easiest time of our day is practice. So they have practice, then they lift weights after practice, then they have a tight little dinner window, and then the underclassmen are in rooms at 7:30 to study the rest of the night before taps at 11:30, and the upperclassmen are in rooms at 8:30. But what they don't tell you is that multiple times during a week they have a surprise activity before the wake up or during the study period time before tap. So they constantly are throwing wrenches at them or, change ups at them within the rigors of their schedule. And that might be an extra workout. That might be an extra tactical session. That might be an extra formation, but they do a lot of very creative things to disrupt the flow of already a very rigorous schedule. And when we put that up on the board, our kids are just like, what?
Yes.
So no video game time, no nap.
Yeah. When you said surprise activity,
Instagram time. Are you kidding me?
When you said surprise activity, I knew it wasn't going to be the ice cream truck outside.
No. And when he said throw a wrench, I thought he meant an actual wrench. That I think was a figure of speech. Yes. If people would like to, they could go to our YouTube channel, Next Round Live, and watch our weekly video with Jacob Zeno. He told me this week in the interview that his plan was to be Delta Force. He was going to be an Army Ranger and wanted to be Delta Force until he realized, hey, you're a really good football player. I mean, that was his life ambition. I think his grandfather, Coach, had served, and he was just going to model his life and go be in the military, and that was all he ever wanted to do.
Well, it explains why he's such a high level of discipline. Jacob's one of those guys that you want all your players to be like. He's going to do the lonely work when nobody's watching. He's totally engaged in the process. He doesn't flinch when bad things happen. He's a very talented football player. I don't want to take anything away from that with what I'm about to say, but his talent is not why he's successful. He's successful because all the other stuff that he's made of. He has incredible parents, obviously the influence of his grandfather. He was raised in such a way that he demands excellence from himself and everything that he does.
Well, he's been playing that way.
And at 6'4", you never get on the submarine at Navy, so you got to go to Army.
No,
right?
You know what he said? He said, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. He said, but I grew so quick, I knew that was out the window. So he switched to Delta Force. Yeah, it's a good interview. Go watch it. Not because of me, but because of Jacob. He is a good kid. Navy is UAB's next opponent. 2:30 CBS Sports Network on Veterans Day, Saturday, there in Annapolis. Best of luck, Coach. Thank you very much for the time, as always.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Coach with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, and our friends at Legacy, they've been supporting UAB and the Birmingham education and healthcare community for 60 years. Nothing new here. The holiday season's upon us again, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protections against fraud when compared to debit cards, which is linked directly to your bank account. You get a good rate with Legacy, 8.90% APR. Look no further than Legacy and open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. APR is annual percentage rate. Rates and offers subject to change. See the website for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Legacy, a proud supporter of UAB athletics. Do you have a Quinn Ewers update?
I do have a Quinn Ewers. I'll let you do that, though. I was going to say, I don't know if you guys remember this, but UAB's first game, if you remember, September 11th happened, and we did not play football that Saturday. Do you remember their first game coming out of September 11th?
It was Army.
They hosted Army.
Yep.
And I remember Watson Brown being like, I didn't even know about playing the game.
Well, you'd feel guilty.
Yeah, that's essentially what he said. They won 55-3, and he's like, I don't doubt that there was not a single player in Army thinking about that football game. They were thinking about
what they were about to have to go do.
What my life had just changed forever. And he said that. He's like, you almost just felt guilty even playing the game.
Dude, I watched the documentary the other night before the Auburn basketball game. The documentary on 9/11, just on Air Force One. Have you ever seen that documentary?
I've not seen that documentary. I've read a oral history of it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Where's this documentary?
I'll have to go back and find it.
The oral history is really good.
It probably was on Netflix, maybe it was on Apple TV, maybe it was on Prime. Hulu,
let me know.
maybe.
I'd like to watch
I'll
that.
find it, but I'll go back.
It was a mess.
And it has interviews specifically for this documentary with President Bush and others.
Yeah.
But it was, the timeline and everything, and it was the commander of Air Force One. But I hope we are much more prepared now than we were on that day, because it's got the communications.
It completely failed.
We on that time, as I repeat the documentary, hope I'm right about this. At that time, because of military cutbacks, the commander of Air Force One said, we think we could be a threat. They're getting information. Air Force One could also be a threat. I'd like to get some air support up here, some fighter pilots to fly with us wherever we're going. We're going to be in the air a while. It took them almost 90 minutes to get 2 F-15s up to protect Air Force One. 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And according to the documentary, they only had 14 available to protect the country, coast to coast at that point.
Yeah.
See, and that's a misconception, like on my part. I've never seen the movie Air Force One. I'm sure it's not sensationalized.
It's biographical, yeah.
It's like a documentary.
But I would have always thought there would be a companion aircraft up with Air Force One.
Not in the United States before 9/11. Ever since, yes.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe, though.
No, if I've read the oral history, which I'm sure tracks a lot with what you watched, and it is scary and fascinating.
Yep.
They were getting they were going in and out of TV coverage because they were flying at such an altitude.
It shows this.
Yeah, and they would get back in TV coverage, and they would find out information that the president didn't even know because they couldn't communicate with the White House.
Because they flew to a height, a normal airline. I don't know how we got on this, but 30,000 feet, where most of the aircraft fly.
Yeah.
So he says if we're being attacked by another aircraft, like was the norm of the day, he took Air Force One up to 45,000 feet.
Yep.
So that impacted their communications.
Yep.
Doesn't anymore, but
no, it's a wild story.
Yeah, it was really good.
Quinn Ewers is suspected to play, by the way. That's the story. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is big for Sark. When you start to look at the success that TCU has had, and not only that, Sonny Dykes 3-0 all time as a head coach against Texas. Different Texas team, different TCU team, no doubt. But Malik Murphy was not playing with a lot of confidence when that game ended against Kansas State. They were lucky to survive. And now you get a guy back that hasn't been great, but he's been really good.
We did a whole show without mentioning Michigan, the scandal. And Michigan responded yesterday to the Big Ten.
Not a great response, by the way.
It was very legalized.
Yeah.
Oh, they're lawyered her up, and they're going to spend a fortune on this. And I don't think the NCAA can touch them right now.
Yeah. By the way, using the phrase when their Purdue coaches are giving Ohio State coaches our signals, they are de facto in-person scouts, so they're violating the rules too.
Oh, boy.
That is very legalized
We're threading a
terminology.
needle.
Well, by the way, they've won me over. They took me from Tuesday where I was says punish them, and I was like, that is sort of in-person scouting. Good legalized formation there by Michigan. See if they can win football this weekend against Penn State. More on that game tomorrow. We're at the Brew Pub there in Homewood tonight for Bud Light Game Night. Until next time, God bless you and God bless the United States of America.
Hey everybody, welcome into the back room.
Jim Dunaway.
John Lunsford.
Lance.
Tyler Johns. Sean Rockstar Henniger. Scott Forrester here. And, in the midst of a lot of issues that we have here, with each other, with fantasy football trades.
Dirty fantasy football trades.
We're in the middle of a lot of arguing over fantasy football right now, what is ethical and what is not ethical. But with that, we decided let's leave all the hate behind. Let's leave all the negativity behind.
I'll try.
We'll try. And we are going to talk about positivity.
It's a stupid topic.
I have a wheel right here.
Oh.
Of names. I'm going to hit spin.
Oh, no.
It has all 13 names of employees up here.
Even number 13?
Including number 13. Number 12 is just listed as 12. And you have to say something nice whenever it falls in a name, something nice about that person.
Okay.
Period. Don't then say, but I hate such and such about them, or they're stupid, or whatever. Just say something nice about whoever pops up on the wheel. And obviously, as names come, I will take them off the list so you don't have to get Jim 20 times. So we are going to start as Lance and Ryan walk in. Hey, guys. We're going to start with...
Who's starting?
We're going to start with Scott. We're going to snake, so it'll come to me, and then I'll do 2, and then we'll go back.
All right.
Oh, look at that. I swear it was not planned, but number 1 is me. So you have to go through and say something nice about me. We have a winner, John. Scott.
John's got a great fantasy football roster.
I feel like that was sarcastic, but...
No, I can feel it.
John's the mastermind that makes it all work.
Thank you. And I do have a good fantasy football roster.
So we all go on John, on you? Like
Yep.
we're okay.
Yep.
Lunsford is one of those ones that will always take a question by a phone call or text when he's on vacation. He's one of those guys that does not turn his phone off, that he knows he is needed. And it does suck when people interrupt your vacation or call you at 6:30 in the morning saying this isn't showing up. He's always there to answer the call. A lot of people won't do that. Sometimes I'm going to include myself. So big kudos to John for that.
Yeah.
We're going on vacation this weekend, by the way.
I will talk to you Monday morning at 6:30.
Yep, we will call you.
Yep.
Yeah, back to what Rocky said. John's just super patient with everything. With running the Monday morning show, I'll call him at, 6:15, wanting to know how to put something into the computer or how to log into something, and he usually texts back really fast.
If I'm awake, because I'm usually not awake that early.
Well, that's why I say usually.
Sometimes.
Usually.
When he sees it, he'll.
Yeah, because if you're asleep, I'm not expecting you to wake up and answer my dumb questions. But yeah, just always knocks it out.
All right.
Yeah.
My positive thing about myself is I have a really good fantasy football roster. All right, let's move on. Next on the wheel, and I will start this one, is David. David Walls, who has been with us from even before day one. I worked with David at Cox Media Group that then became Summit Media Group for a long time. And then he was our market manager at Cumulus for a long time as well, before retiring and then coming out of retirement to help here. And David is one of those that has given me every opportunity in the world. When we were at the Zone with Cox Media Group, I mean, he was always supporting everything we did. Didn't really oversee everything. But then when we were at Jocks and it came time to do primetime, I was kind of his guy that he kind of put in there. I don't really think I was wanted by the person who actually put the show together, but when they came to David as the head guy, he said, "You got to give John a shot. He's worked hard to try to get this," and so he's good at finding talent to put into different shows and stuff like that. And he helped create the talk station there and everything. So he's super smart at thinking about what really works content-wise, especially back in the radio days where we kind of all started.
Yeah, and also he just always seems to be in a good mood. I don't think I've ever seen him like visibly angry, ever.
I don't really think I have either, even though I've destroyed him on the poker table.
Yeah, like poker is probably the closest I can think.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never see him in a bad mood. He's always happy to see everybody, happy to come in.
I think back at the former job, David was our market manager for a while, and I would say if I went through 10 market managers, there is only one that ever personally asked you how you were doing or how they could help you in any way get up in your position, and asking you to meet him for lunch, for that matter, just to catch up with you to see what can I do to help you, to leave his office door open at all times and everything. That was David Walls, best market manager I have by far I ever had. Just a guy that was always connected with his employees, and he would come around, he would do laps every day, every morning, and go to each office like, "How you doing? Everything good? How's so-and-so kid? How's this and this and everything's good for you?" And you hear me go to the next office. He wouldn't be a guy that would just show up on whatever, on Christmas week, just to like say, "I just want to appreciate Lunsford on what great work you've done this year in computers." You are doing so well. We value you. Like David was always so good about that stuff. So huge kudos to David for actually being a market manager that was worth working for.
I'll echo what Tyler said. In 2+ years of working here, I don't think I've ever heard David say a negative word about anybody, anything. Guy's always in a good mood. He's also very persistent, which is something.
He's a sales guy.
Yeah, as a salesperson, that's what you want to be.
All right. So that was David Walls here. Let's see who comes up next on the Wheel of Destiny, and that would be E.G., Emily Grace McWhorter. Scott?
Emily Grace is as sweet as they come. She's pretty green in a lot of areas, so she's a sponge. She just wants to learn, and she's a great listener, and yeah, she's awesome.
With me, she is, going back to you saying she's a go-getter. With limited time we've had to get to know her so far, because it's only been about a month and a half, 2 months. Has it been 2 months? I don't even know.
A couple months. Yeah.
She randomly came to the board one day saying, "Can you show me how to do this?" Like, first time I've ever had somebody like instead of me like going, "Hey, you need to learn how to do this." She's like, "I'm guessing I might have to do this one day, just in case. Like, I'd like to learn it." And she sits there, and I'd give her the nuts and bolts as quickly as I can. And I was like, "You can sit in here whenever you want to do a segment." She's like, "All right, well, I think I got it. I think I'd like to try it one day." And it's like, to have that kind of go-getter attitude was awesome to me. And then she's super sweet. She's a girl that eats, she weighs about 80 pounds, and she eats red velvet cake from a sponsor, not non-sponsor over here, which makes me jealous all the time that we just pounded 2 cookies and chicken fingers today. And she's got a really good sense of humor. She gets my dry sense of humor. She'll participate. She'll give it back to me, so I like that about E.G.
Yeah, back to what y'all said, she's a go-getter. I don't think let me change that. There's no way that I could approach coaches and players the way E.G. does it. She walks up like she's known them, introduces herself, and gets whatever she needs to. And that's impressive, because there's no chance I could do that.
Yeah, that was tough when I first started, too. On top of the go-getter thing, like Rocky said, coming to the board and being like, "Hey, teach me this." Really, she's one of those that goes to every single room here, and if there's somebody in the room, she'll come sit down and say, "Hey, either I need help with something, like I trust y'all, help me with it, or what can I do to help y'all?" And, me and 12 are sitting in the back office just, goofing around, and she'll come in there and be like, "Hey, I really want to learn this, help me learn this." And, she'll always sit down and have a good discussion and really try to learn things and always try to help out in any regard. And the first day she showed up, her first day here was when we had our fantasy draft.
That's right.
We right now want to murder each other over our fantasy football league. But she came in that first day, and I was thinking, this is going to last long, and people are going to get drunk and angry and hungry and all these different things. And all of that happened, and she still was just like, "I'm just going to go with it." She stayed the whole time, even though she probably didn't need to. Pretty much everybody dipped halfway through our college one that you don't even hear about because nobody's paid attention to it. But she's like, "I'm going to stay, and I'm going to do my due diligence and try everything I can to fit into this crowd." And so she's done a really good job with all of that. So congrats, E.G. I forgot to take her name off. Hold on. Let me delete her name. All right. So we are now down to 10 people.
You're going to be here all day.
So far, we've done me.
It's going to last longer than the college draft.
So about half this week, half next week.
Let's just go a little faster. All right. Okay. So Kelsey, I could talk about for a million hours, because Kelsey and I have worked together over 4 different companies now, pretty much our entire professional careers. She actually worked at CMT for a little bit before I met her at Cox, but we worked together with David over at Cox Media Group and number 12 as well back when we were there. And she's super smart when it comes to digital. She's somebody who's super easy to work with, and there's a reason that I've kind of followed her everywhere she's gone. She left Cox, went to AL.com. I ended up at AL.com. Then she went to Cumulus. She hired me at Cumulus. And then, of course, we're both here now with this company. But she's super smart in everything she does, and super up on the newest trends and stuff like that to really help us kind of take us to the next level, and we couldn't do it without her.
She just seems to know everything about sales, and can hunt down any company she needs to. Also, fellow Android user, so better than all y'all right now.
We have 3 Android users in the company. They're interesting. Anyway, yes?
With Kelsey, I feel like she's a hidden gem because there's things about her I never knew that she's never seen a Tom Cruise movie. I never knew she played the guitar. And I remember to show her attitude about always working. This time, it was like last year, year before, I had a huge growth on my face. And I had to do like an emergency dermatologist thing because there was like this, I don't know if it was an ingrown hair or something. It was the size of a bullet that you could feel on my face, on my jaw. And I remember I had to get it removed. And I was telling her the next day, like, well, I went. The only person that answered the phone because it was so early in the morning that took me like a walk-in appointment was this people and everything. She's on her laptop and I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm going to call them to see if I can get advertising or something. I was like, to be thinking like that when I'm telling a terrible story about but I think she actually talked to him. I don't know if they advertised. No, they didn't advertise. But it's so it's like she's always on. She's always working. Like even me telling a story about my face having a bullet in it, she's looking up to have advertising. Kelsey's awesome. Love her.
Kelsey is awesome. She makes my job easier as the person who handles the visuals during the live show. She'll constantly send me stuff from our sponsors that I can put up and to showcase their products and stuff. She'll also I've texted her a couple of times on weekends to help me get somebody like Hemp Hill out to my house when when my AC goes down. So yeah, Kelsey's the best.
Awesome. All right, so that was Kelsey Dollar, who is our director of sales here. Now let's go to Reed Taylor. Scott, you can go first.
El Presidente. Reed is awesome. He regularly he'll call me in and just ask me how things are going from my perspective, how I think things could be better. He's really concerned with, I think, getting everybody's perspective on how things are going, and it's a good quality.
Same here with me, but also to not. We have a lot of personalities in here. A lot goes on. Speaking of fantasy football and stuff like that, for him, I have not seen him lose his cool once, like not even in the slightest way to like raise his voice or just angrily leave a room or slam a door or something like that. And if I was in that position, I'd be probably crying a lot and slamming doors. So big kudos to him to remain calm throughout it, because every day here is different. There's a different fire to put out. We have good days and we'll have bad days where something happens, and it's like to remain calm. I remember the day that we did media days, our first try here, and they were at media days and we couldn't get a signal. The internet didn't work and we were just dead, and Lunsford's on the floor fixing computers and Reed's here and guarding people not to come in and leave us alone and everything, but not flipping out, just like, hey, if y'all can get it solved, please try your best, but not like, come on, Lunsford, get on it. We're wasting money here. So to be that kind of patient and that calm is very admirable.
Yeah, so, excuse me, back to what y'all were saying, yeah, he's always calling people into the office to see how they're feeling, and that's really cool because he gets to hear how everybody thinks we're doing as a business, but also what's going on in our personal lives and what we're carrying into work. And I think stuff like that really helps with the people just understanding what's going on, and we all understand each other a little bit more.
Yeah, when we first started all this, as much as, I had worked with the Round Table before, just like, Rocky, I had started working with Reed more, being on the kind of behind the scenes, kind of managerial aspect. I was doing the digital sales manager job when COVID hit, and then when we decided to leave, and I mean, it was as much coming to work with him as it was anybody else, because we had grown really close, and I was super, respected everything that he did, the way he handled everything, like everything y'all said. I mean, it was just, super fun working with him, and I knew that no matter what we did, I wanted to follow wherever he went, to work with him, because I looked up to him, really, even when I was an intern. He was just a salesperson when I was an intern, and then he left and then came back as sales manager. And, it was always super fun to work for him because all the stuff y'all said, he doesn't lose his cool. He's super understanding. He knows that, when it comes to like growing and everything we're doing here, he knows, certain paths to take. When he doesn't, he looks at people like all of us to kind of, steer the right direction. And he's willing to be open to a lot of things too, which is, the qualities of a good leader there. All right, next, we're going to get there, I promise. I like how none of the three of them have come up except for, how about we go to the other side of that family and go with Lance Taylor, who just walked out. That's what I was waving. I was waving to Lance and Brown as they just walked out in the middle of our show. But yeah, Lance is when I first started, along with Rocky and then Ian Fitzsimmons, and Lance was somebody who helped me kind of get started down that radio path, which was not the best path, but made it fun. And, kind of helped, teach me along the way. And, he's somebody that we can sit and talk movies with and talk, a lot of different things from gambling, fantasy, entertainment, all kind of different things, being super well-rounded, kind of like I feel like you kind of need to be in media, and he's done a good job with all of that. And, it's been fun to work with him over the last 15 years or so from that angle.
Yeah, Lance is a lot of fun. He's always got some new dunks, some new Jordans on. That was actually that was the first thing he said to me when I started interning here, was noticing that I had a pair of dunks on. And it's just fun to work with him, whether he's tapping the keg at like 10:30, 11 in the morning, or just talking movies. It's always a good time.
His memory retention, he taught me, we've been doing trivia for the longest time, 12, 13 years. And, occasionally somebody will come up to us, and not to us, to him, saying they're a big fan of the show and meet him and everything, and shake hand. And he always something I observed is he always made it a point to have them repeat their name to him. Like if his name's Scott or whatever, and he'd say, "Scott, it's nice to meet you," and everything. And talk to him and give him all the time he had before we had to go back on to do another round of trivia. But then to bring him up the next day and remember that name. So like we talked to a guy named Scott at trivia last night, said he's been listening to this for 10 years, and he made a point about LSU or something like that. To have that kind of retention and relationship with a fan, that that made that guy's day. And not like if he was listening the next day, like going, "My God, he remembered my name and he remembered exactly what I talked about." So I always take that into consideration when I meet people that listen to the show or fans with the show, that like to make them say their name again, so I can try to retain it as best I can. I cannot do it like Lance. I don't know how the hell he does it, but try to retain that information because people really enjoy the show so much. And it's amazing that he can do something like that because he meets way more fans than I do.
His memory is wild, and it's not just names. I mean, lines from movies or sports scores from 25 years ago. Just he can spit them off like it's unreal. But my favorite thing about Lance is that anytime I feel sometimes I take things a little too seriously, and Lance will say something to make me realize that I'm taking whatever I'm taking too seriously. He's fun. He keeps it fun.
All right. Next up, why don't we just stick with Scott Forrester? Say something nice about yourself, Scott.
Rocky?
All right, Rocky.
Scott works here. No, Scott is a guy, speaking of patience, earlier on we were spread thin here, and Scott had a lot on his plate. But also, Scott most of the time, majority of the time, comes in with his head down, gets his work done, and doesn't really participate in office politics and stuff like that. And I've said it before, the way that he does his job is admirable to me because he's at his desk playing his little computer games.
A lot of Minesweeper.
Yeah, acting like he's doing stuff for the show. And to have so much thrown at you during the show, to have this clip, have this thing ready. Like, I never said this to you, but can you have this ready now? and to be able to not lose your cool and not like just like throw your headphones down, going like I got to walk away. I got to just walk in the hallway for a minute. To keep your cool like that, and the guy has seen more volleyball and softball than actual volleyball and softball players. To be a super dad like that, to be doing this all day, and then spending the rest of your day and nights at the a volleyball court, the volleyball court or the softball field, and then keeping his thermostat at 74 degrees. I would just love to see if I gave Scott. I'm giving you Friday night and Saturday night. Just for you, just you by yourself, what Scott does. It'd be fantastic to learn one day, just to where you're always doing something and you always maintain a good attitude about it.
Thanks, Bill.
And he likes Pearl Jam.
I do like
Scott's always first to get here and last to leave.
No, I'm not first.
Somebody's going to have to argue with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm definitely second.
Second.
Definitely 1B when it comes to getting.
Yeah. One of the first to get here and one of the last people to leave. He's always working, whether it's making 10 to 12 new intro videos for shows or just here's a bunch of stuff to edit. We're also going to need clips from these interviews. He just does it all with no complaints, and I don't really see him get frustrated or just mad at it. And like Rocky was saying, a lot of that, some of the times I've had to shadow Scott, all that stuff gets thrown at you and it gets really frustrating sometimes, and you want to step away to take a deep breath. But he never does.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm sure he screams when he gets in that car.
Might have happened.
Yeah.
I will say, so like when we were in radio, we didn't do a lot of video, but for special events, we did try to do video. And like, there's a while there, Kelsey and I were like, we got to do some video. And I made a YouTube channel for us and everything, and it ended up kind of flopping. But I'm so glad I don't have to do a lot of that anymore, because now a professional is handling a lot of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, doing that just enough before I understand everything that goes into a video, and that it's not just, well, here, I'll just...
All he does is he presses a button.
I just film it, and then, okay, well, the video's already on your phone, so why is it not up on YouTube and edited and have graphics on it? It's like
on the camera, there's a button that says post, and it posts it on the website. It's
There's an edit button.
The average person has no earthly idea what actually goes into a video, even if it really is just, cutting, trimming the beginning and end on it. There's still, there's an upload process. You got to go in, you got to make sure it looks okay. You got to export it. I mean, there's so much that goes into that the average person has no earthly idea about, and that a lot of people here had no earthly idea about when we started. I could tell that, that is so much work that Scott does such a good job with. And when it does need to have that much more editing to it or graphics added to it or whatever, that he knocks it out of the park. And so obviously moving into a video medium, like when we first kind of started talking about this and I heard Scott's name get brought up, I knew Scott from his work at 3340 and shooting games and stuff like that, including like high school stuff. I don't know if you know who I was, but the minute I heard that name, I was like, yes, 100%. Like, that's the answer, not even giving it a second thought. And it 100% has been the answer since we started. So welcome, Scott. Welcome to the next round. All right. Moving on. This is the fun one we've all been waiting for. James Edward Dunaway Jr. So Jim, I will give Jim a lot of credit for one thing. Early in our career, with me and number 12, when we were over at Cox with David and Kelsey, we started a nighttime show that was on in the middle of the night. We were kids that just graduated. Well, I was the only one, I think we started, maybe he had even graduated college, because 12 was like finishing up, I think. And then our other host hadn't graduated yet either. So we were kind of like, hey, we want to do a podcast. We want to have some fun, just goof off and basically get some experience on the radio. And so our boss was like, why don't you just go in the middle of the night? Nobody's paying attention to it anyway. So we're like, okay, sure. So we did it. And then out of the blue one night, I get a call because we had messed something up. And so I get a call, we had like messed a name up or something. I don't remember what it was exactly. But I get a call. And it's like, hey, this is Jim Dunaway from CBS 42. I just wanted to, it's kind of funny because it's like, I want to let you know you messed this thing up. But at the same time, it's like, why on earth are you listening to us? Because he worked at Jocks. or I guess he would have been Jock. So that's started the roundtable at that point. So the roundtable was just getting going there. You're at a competitor. We're trying so hard to take you down as a rival sports station, and you're listening to us. And he's like, well, when I'm on my way back at night, like I can listen to national stuff rather listen to local. And like, you guys are actually doing a really good job. I love listening to your show. And like, he ended up calling in a couple of times and was like that first supporter before we ever had like any real supporters. I mean, nobody even at our station listened to it.
You had a show?
Exactly. So like,
I didn't know that.
He would listen to our show and like call and give us pointers and stuff like that and really help us out with it. And ever since then, no matter what, like Jim was the first person to really, support what we were doing, when it comes to radio. And he has to deal with a lot of shit here for, a lot of different reasons. But at the end of the day, like when it comes to Jim, like I could not stop thinking about, him being that first supporter of us and everything he did kind of early on for us in our radio careers.
Jim's the first person in the studio every morning.
That's right.
The first, very first. I don't think I've ever seen anybody so willing to make themselves the butt of the joke. And you can take that as an insult or a compliment, but I think it is a compliment because I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
There's 13 people here total, so there's 12 other people here ready to make a crack on Jim. And he comes into work ready for it. That's admirable.
To get the beatings that he does every day, day in and day out, and to be as he's thin-skinned, but he's thick-skinned about him being thin-skinned, if that makes sense, and that our show is chaotic at times. Probably 95% of the time it's chaotic, and you don't know where it's going to go, and he has to be the one that guides us, that tries to land the plane every day, even though we're going through mountain ranges every morning. It's amazing that he can, as best he can, keep it on schedule and keep it on pace. Because I don't have any hair to pull out, but I would pull my hair out just knowing like I can't get this read in and I can't get this topic in because this person's already gotten to the topic that I wanted to get to. I'm teasing it here, and these guys are already talking about it, so it's hard to. Yes, you can see visual frustration. I don't know if you noticed it, but you can get visual frustration that somebody's up to their wits' end, but to maintain it and then come back the next day and keep going with it. And we've been doing this, 12 years, 13 years, and to accept his role like that, I'm going to be the punching bag, but I also got to be the point guard that sometimes is playing with a deflated ball, and you guys are going to point out to me that I have a deflated ball.
Point guard's a good way to put it. I think of him as almost like an air traffic controller. Like, just nobody puts more thought into what we're gonna do on the live show than Jim. He plots it out, and then things always go in weird directions, and it's always on him to make it all fit in to this crazy thing that is the next round. And like they were saying, like he's the punching bag, and I couldn't do that. He does have to have thick skin, even though he has thin skin about it. He's one of a kind. Love you, Jim.
Kiss ass.
I love you, Jim. Sincerely, the person who gets here after you. All right, let's move on. We have 5 more left, and we will get these through, I promise. All right, number 12 is on the list. It's hard to do him because we can't say his name, but we'll start with number 12.
12, the scheduling of all these new shows, I don't even know what the number is, but it's a lot of them. And it's whether one of our ESPN personalities, has to move something, that inevitably affects something else that day. The sliding schedule and having to maintain that and make it all work is, I'm sure, quite a chore, and he does it well.
Rocky.
He also works with the light off.
He does. He does.
he is a guy, number 12 is a guy that I think is interesting that will come sometimes, it's happened like 3 or 4 times, he'll just sit down and almost interview me about something like music or a concert or a movie. And he'll just sit down and he's like in an interview phase where he's genuinely interested in what you have to say about this. And he's being super serious. It's not like a shtick or something like that. And it's just super interesting like that. He's also good at what I've seen, conflict resolution. There's been a lot of conflict, and have him sit down and try to come up with a solution to make both parties happy, or it's just interesting to have that to be the second to last person hired so far in the chain of events and everything, to be so welcomed with open arms and almost like he's been here the whole time. And the schedule, I admire him for that, because looking that is like looking at cuneiform for me. It just doesn't make sense. And to be able, like, we got to do this every day. And by the way, if we have 3 a day, 2 of these are going to be a problem. They're going to have to reschedule, and you got to make it. It's like, and like, oh, here, this is on your plate. Welcome to the team. And just like that would kill me. So huge props to him and his big shoes.
Yeah, everything that you just said and Scott said, scheduling's the biggest thing for me. We have a production schedule in the back in his office, has a list of all the shows and what time they film. I don't even call it the production schedule anymore. That's just the anxiety board.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he's always so calm. Will just tell me, all right, here's what we got today. Here's what moved today, so you can ignore that part of the board. And here's what we've got for next week. And that's just super helpful when we've added as many shows as we have. And he'll always come in, ask questions. Like Rocky said, it's almost like an interview phase. It's like he's sitting in his office, thinks of a question, and it's just eating at him. He has to go ask it right then.
Obviously, I can say more about 12 than anybody here because we've worked together for so long. We've done multiple radio shows together for so long, and multiple things coming soon in February once he's free, which is why we have to call him number 12 right now. So he's dealt with that well. I mean, we all were frustrated when that happened, but we're all dealing with it. But I know he's more frustrated than anybody with it. There's one story I would love to tell. We've already been going for like an hour, so I won't get into it. But him basically interviewing you when he sits down and talks to you is because he does have that like thirst for knowledge of like, I want to fully understand who you are, so that way when we do sit down, especially on camera, in front of a microphone, whatever, like we can have a good, legitimate conversation. He's a perfect person to have a good conversation with. And I think having that thirst for knowledge is a good thing because it kind of helps equip you for working here, dealing with people day in, day out. And one of these days, there's a whole story. I actually want to make a movie about it, about him, because of his, like, just the way he approaches himself when it comes to being on air and talking to people. And he's like the perfect representative to go and talk to people because of how he handles everything. And yeah, you'll see a lot more of him coming soon, starting February 1st when his non-compete is over. All right, 4 more, including 2 people currently sitting here, which we still will not get to, or will we? We will. Let's go with one Sean Henniger.
Good guy, good-looking guy, great in the shower.
So, as much as I talked about, people like Lance helping out early on, Jim helping out early on, Reed helping out, like, when I very first got into radio, for some reason, like, I was going to football practice at Birmingham Southern one day, and I had to have an internship, and I saw, or I heard on the radio, because I used to listen to the End of the Round Table in the beginning of Feinbaum before practice, and so I heard at the end one day, hey, we're looking for interns, so I went and applied, and ended up working, and they sat me behind a guy named Rockstar, who was sitting there at the board, and basically everything I've learned when it comes to doing a show like what we do now with the Next Round, what has evolved to be the current version of the Next Round, I learned from Rockstar. And I'm sure I annoyed him a lot sitting behind asking questions, wanting to talk about various and assorted things. And, going and getting Arby's back in the day on the company's dime and sitting back there and eating and just learning the world of knowledge from Rocky, was super invaluable. And it's really the biggest reason I stayed in radio was because of everything I'd learned from him before. So, you know, I can't thank him enough for that. But he's also like a really patient teacher because I've sat behind him for a long time and my wife has sat behind him for a long time. And I know that she can talk and I can talk, and I'm sure we're annoying as hell. But he's super patient with everybody, including the personalities that you see every day. He's having to be super patient with them day in, day out, and still coming in with a smile despite everything, and obviously making us all laugh along with it.
Yeah, always looking to make a joke, make everybody laugh, and just brighten the mood around the office. And he's just been super encouraging when I started interning, whether it was actually getting me on the mic or just getting me to sit behind the soundboard for longer than I was. He really worked to get me here, and I've always appreciated that. Gosh, what else? Oh yeah. Thanks for going on tour, because I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, that was for you, by the way. They didn't know that. I took a bullet for you.
Scott.
Rocky might be the funniest person I know, and I say that because it's so effortless. Like he doesn't have to try hard to be funny. Like it's just he's so quick-witted, and inevitably there's something every day that he says that might not even get noticed in the live show that I'll get a laugh out of. And he's obviously devastatingly handsome. So
that goes without saying.
All right. Went ahead and hit it. So we get ahead here. Next up is one Ryan Brown. Scott?
Ryan Brown. Ryan is so versatile. He can do pretty much everything here technically. He's great on air. I just haven't seen much that Ryan can't pull off and do well at a high level. And I hear he's good at golf too.
Brown is the only person I can say that I've met that literally whistles, and I think he skips from his car. leaving a funeral, he'll skip to his car because, you know, today's great, but tomorrow's going to be even better. To have such a positive attitude to the point where you want to punch him in the face. Everything, like you can say, like, dude, like I remember him and Dunaway years ago, like Dunaway was like, it's raining all day, like there's no way we're playing golf today. And he's like, nope, it'll stop. Well, the forecast is like, nope, it's going to stop. Just like to have that positive attitude that's just like, it's not going to rain all day. Trust me. We got a 12 o'clock tee time, it'll stop raining at 11:55. To have that positive attitude and what Scott's saying, to be one of these ones that wants to learn every station, to have an ability to set up cameras, to set up all these show remotes we do, where he's the one on site that's doing everything, set up lights, to set up the board, to set up everything, and then to be able to run everybody's station. I think if there's anybody here that can run every station, Brown is the closest to it. And for him to put effort into that, to care about his job that much, to put so much effort into it, these Thursday night things, these send up the things, Saturday night shows and Saturday morning shows, to invite all the people and like Lance and Dunaway to come in and controlling that, and then reading the chat room and all that. It's just, to do all that is that's a super stressful thing for me. Personally, I couldn't do it, and to know that he can do it while whistling and skipping to work is incredible to me. That after all these years, he still does that to this day. And I don't whistle that much. He whistles all the time. He is a happy-go-lucky, jolly guy.
Oh man, I don't think I could say it better. Super versatile. He's always got his hands on something. If we're doing something, he's involved. With a good mood, and you can't really ask for much more than that.
It's gonna sound like an insult, I guess, but like,
I hate him.
But like,
no, okay.
So the way it was when we first started all this, like, I mean, I'd worked with him obviously a bunch before and everything, but when we first kind of started this whole process, it was like, you know, how is each person going to fit and mesh into this new way of kind of doing things? And he's one of those who's always kind of giving off the vibe of like, I'm going to come and do the show, and then, before 6 to 10, then at 10:05, I'm at the golf course, and like that's it. That's all I'm doing. And I'm gonna do the show and then go play golf. And it's like, is he gonna be able to buy in? Is he gonna, learn some of the technical aspects and everything? And I mean, within a day, I was like floored at how hard a worker he was at, learning all the digital stuff. And like I said, he goes and sets everything up on Thursday nights when they're out. He does Saturdays when they're at home. He does Mondays when they're home. He does all these different things, and he really is, the only person other than people in this room right now that could do anything from a technical standpoint. Like, we always joke that one day we're going to switch, and like me, Scott, and Rocky are going to sit in their seats, and we're going to send the three of them to the back room to try to make them run the show. He's the one person that would probably actually make it happen. Like, we need to give him the least important job, because that way there still will be a train wreck back there. Because if he's back there, then it won't be a train wreck. So he's done a great job learning all of that, and growing and having conversations with him, kind of learning where he was before and learning where he is now. Seeing that growth and that yearning for knowledge on how exactly all the technical aspects of all this works, so that he can fully benefit from it. Since we all kind of have to know that angle. When some people here are kind of technologically illiterate, it's nice to have somebody who's on the on-air side and from the personality side that does know a lot of that stuff. So I've been super impressed by him doing all of that. All right, next up, that would be one Tyler, not so much an intern anymore, and that's mine. Is I was an intern back in the day. There have been interns for the show that have gone on to either work at Jocks or work in the industry somewhere else. But, even for me, I worked there, and then I went back to school, and it was probably 6 years before I came back to finally actually start working and getting paid there. But Tyler worked his ass off here, and, if anybody has earned it, he is number one in terms of earning everything that he has gotten. So I can't compliment Tyler enough for working your ass off and, earning everything that you have right now, and earning, working here. And, even though you still have to come load beer in sometimes because you're the free hand that can come help with that, you're getting paid for it now, and you've earned every bit of that.
With Tyler, so one day, when did you start your internship?
Oh, that would have been last May.
So one random May day, I come in, Scott's at his station, and there's this kid sitting in the studio, the back room. I don't know who he is. And Brown, naturally, I forgot to tell you we have an intern. He's starting today. He's like, yeah, he's going to be shadowing you. I was like, so I have an intern that's shadowing. Okay, we had a meeting yesterday, and this is Tuesday, and he's starting today. But nobody said anything. I forgot. And so I was a little iffy. I was like, because sometimes the problem with an intern is you have to take time out of your busy day to teach them everything, and it's super stressful. It can be helpful down the road, but for that particular day, it's going to be Tyler knew everything, probably more than me at some stuff, fixing audio on the computer and stuff like that. And to be annoyed that he was there that first day and then completely turning around by day two, I was like, this kid's really good. I love the fact that there are people that are pushy with agendas and stuff like that. What I love about Tyler is he's a silent suggester. And what I mean by that is we used to do the thing called the viewing menu and stuff like that. And he would go in, and I would have a template of what the next week's viewing menu items were. And then and I'd come to my station one morning, and he'd have suggestions on there. Just like, he'd never be offended if I didn't take his suggestion, which would be like an anime thing of a guy that has a chainsaw shoulder that goes off and kills anteaters with popsicle sticks.
Old chainsaw shoulder.
And he would also, and he transfers, he would do everything I asked him, and I don't like asking interns to do a lot because I feel like, if they're coming here for free, I'm not going to make you do my job so I can get the slack off. But he always transfers my trash pictures. I've never asked him to do this once, but he's always transferred my trash pictures from one computer to another for the next day. And he has like 14 tabs open of trash silent suggestions of these could be potential trash stories. A lot of horse sex, by the way.
There was today, I noticed.
Those I have failed on those before. Those don't translate well on the show.
All right,
but
no.
Tyler's done a great job, and I remember going to reading everybody. I was like, we got to hire this kid. I go, he's busting his ass, and I think when I went on tour, really did help because like you had to do everything that I'm responsible for and more, and without me even being there, me being in California on a night or something like that. So Tyler earned his spot here, and congratulations, he got his first apartment last night. So things are paying off for Tyler.
I'm so glad for us that we hired Tyler, and glad for him that he is officially on board, because that guy worked his ass off when he wasn't getting paid a dime to be here. Learned the board, learned how to do a lot of what I do, learned how to do some of what Luntz does. I mean, I appreciate his attitude more than anything. If there's something that needs to get done, he will put his head down and just do it. And great attitude, great worker.
All right, last but not least, hold on, I gotta spin the wheel for this one. It is Taylor, little T, number 10, whatever you want to call her. Scott, I'll let you start.
Lil T, I appreciate her so much. The early days, for the first year after I started here, I did my stuff, and I felt like I did 95% of our social media too for that first year, and it was a lot at the time, and she does a lot more now than I did then. So she is, the stuff that she's done on TikTok, which is, thank God, I'm not a TikToker, so.
You look like one.
I know, right?
You're not a teenage girl.
Yeah. So she does stuff with that I could never pull off. She's amazing at her job. Has a great attitude. Fun to be around. Love Lil T.
With Taylor, one of my things is I think she's one of these ones that doesn't want to be in front of the camera, but she does it because we ask her to or something like that. She's not grinding for a job like I want to be, I want to be front and center. I want to have my own show. She's like, no, I want to be behind the scenes building graphics, and we'll do what I do with social media and stuff like that. But then to be a team player and saying like, hey, we need you for a Mystery Fifth Hour, or we need you to host this show, she does it. And the stress that goes along with sometimes the amount of posting she has to do, like I know I could never do it. And say at 9:25, somebody from the show comes up to you and says, hey, I need a graphic of every single football that was thrown in the NFL, a graphic how it was thrown, incomplete or complete, and we're going to need it. Don't worry about it right now, but we're going to need it eventually.
And we may or may not even use it.
Yeah, and then 9:30 comes around, which is 5 minutes later, and then on that air, that person says, hey, Taylor, do you have that graphic built yet? And sometimes she has the damn thing built, and it's just like, that's a super stressful, like, hey, we need you to act right now and have this finished ASAP, and to have it done as well as she does it is super incredible. And I've never met a fan of a football team that I think she is one of those, Lance is one of those, that if her team loses, I'm not going out tonight. Do not call me. Do not text me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want condolences. Give me the weekend to survive, and I'll see you guys Monday. The way that she is with Auburn is incredible to me. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I've probably seen 8 plays this year. So it doesn't really affect me if they lose or win. So I just kudos to her to be so devoted to her school.
Oh, yeah, especially with the social media stuff. It's not to say, gosh, how do I word this? It is work that I don't think any of us would want to do.
No.
Like, we would rather be editing or actually producing or something like that, as opposed to firing off some tweets. But it's super important, and she kills it. I don't know how she has the time to tweet as much as she does.
I think she's given up her social life pretty much.
I think that the next round is more or less just her account now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's incredible, and I've never seen somebody so passionate about Auburn.
Yeah, when we were sitting out here, actually, this was, I don't know, what, 6 months in or so. We were sitting out here with Rocky's wife, Nancy, who has done a lot of branding stuff and was kind of helping us with kind of taking that next step for us. And she did an exercise where we wrote down on a sheet of paper what our number one need was. And I think the majority of people wrote right down our top 3 needs or something like that. I think the majority of people wrote, we need somebody doing social media, because Scott was doing a ton of it. Brown do a little bit, I guess. Jim would do a little bit, I guess. I did a little bit here and there, but it was, we needed somebody who could totally focus in on that.
That is a full-time
It's okay, you can go out there.
I come out here?
Retailer, everybody, we've already talked nice about him.
Yeah, we already talked about you, Reed.
Stick your head in. Hey, retailer. That's one we talked nice about a while back. We've been going for 3 hours now, but
I appreciate it.
yeah, we're on the last one though.
I need help in the store a little bit.
Yeah, I got it. But the number one need we felt like we needed was social media manager. And, really the biggest thing is we do so much stuff on a show, and especially when it's 4 hours, at least it's only 3 hours now, but especially on a 4-hour show, there's just so much stuff that happens that when there's a poll question, well, who's going to do that? Who's going to take care of that? I guess, Jim or Brown did that, I guess, before. I don't know, but it's well, I'm doing something. Scott's well, I'm, doing something, and everybody's doing something. That now there's anytime we need something on social media, it's boom, Taylor's there to do it and handle it for us. And then she's always there to help out in various ways, to be a helping hand, to be able to hold, a camera, whether it's just her phone or not, and to be able to clip things out from the shows and everything. I mean, she has devoted a lot to it and all these other shows that we have through Disrupt as well. And then Lance's Lock on top of that. And that's the other thing, is she's had to deal with all of us at various times coming and saying, hey, we need X, Y, or Z, like you mentioned, the graphics, or, with one of the shows, hey, I need you to tweet this, clip out from it, or, hey, I need you to share this. It's just, we literally make our way on social media right now because we have decided to go all in on that, and I would count YouTube with that as well, that somebody's got to be there to put it all out there, and somebody's got to be there to kind of be the catch-all for all of our questions and all of our needs and wants for social media. And so, she's done a good job kind of capturing all that. And I think, down the line, there's a lot for her when it comes to what we're doing here. And I see that role only growing from here for her. So, yeah, that's all 13 employees. We literally went for 4 hours on this, but Scott, who's such a great editor, is going to have now go sit and look at this for the next 5 hours.
And the Mystery Fifth Hour.
Yeah, and the Mystery Fifth Hour, which was just done before this, and the Alabama Power thing, which I don't even know if you've done that yet or not.
Already did that.
Oh, see, that's how fast he is. He already knocked that one out. But anyway, this has been the back room, thanks to MyBookie. Don't know what their first deposit bonus is, but you can get a first deposit bonus by using code next round. It may still be the 110%, so go grab that while you can. But yeah, this has been the back room. All right, bye.
I totally blanked out. I didn't know what to say about you because I don't like you, so yours is the only one I made up.